And you're good?
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Sonic Talk podcast. I am your host, Nuckles87, and with me as always is the great and glorious Shigs,
Tog.
and also G Extreme G GX. Is
It's
that it?
it's more of an Albany expression.
Ah,
Oh, so you're from New York.
My God, like
Upstate New
you're
York.
the one complaining about Simpsons references. It's like you absolutely failed to like. You need to take I don't know, a
Course in
improv
Simpsons.
plan or something, because there's yes anding, and then there's, oh, we're doing a bit. Okay, a bit. So this bit that you're doing, you're saying that this is a wedding? Okay, and I am the groomsman according to this bit. Is this how this
I mean,
works?
I was just not going to do the bit. That was what I was doing.
Welcome to Sonic Talk, starring Alex, the comedy murderer.
I told you I have a horrible sense of humor like 5 minutes ago.
Hi, I'm GX.
Hello, GX. Welcome to Sonic Talk.
Thank you. This is my first time here. What kind of show is this?
We talk about Mario
Cool.
and Bubsy.
I've
and,
never heard
Shadow.
of Bubsy. Can you please describe Bubsy in excruciating detail for me?
Well, Bubsy is an awesome possum who fights for environmental rights.
Cool. Like the character named Awesome Possum who kicks.
Oh no,
Dr.
Awesome
Machino's
Possum
butt.
is like this bobcat with an exclamation point
Okay.
on its shirt.
Who's the circus bat then?
Batman?
Okay, yeah. Who? Okay, help me out then. Who is Rocky Rodent?
A rodent made out of rocks.
I think I probably stumped you on that one. Do you actually know which bad mascot that one is?
I do not, I don't think.
Oh, I need to show you some box art after the show. He has a mohawk. As you go through the level, you can get different mohawks by finding different cans of, like, I don't know if it's hairspray or spray paint, but
Huh.
you gain
So
different mohawks, and he looks really stupid, and he fights the mafia.
So it's like Kid Chameleon.
I guess that might be a comparison of sorts.
Of course, he wears masks. And speaking of masks,
Oh, are we going to talk about the cartoon masks? Mask as in M-A-S-K, or Jim Carrey's mask?
I was going to talk about the masks we wear over our souls to hide our inner pain.
You mean like a robot?
No, like, I don't know. Like a little like dressing up as like a superhero or something.
I mean, if we want to just not have any sort of segue to the things that are on the list of things that we're going to talk about.
Oh wait, you mean we have other things to talk about? I thought we were just like shooting the shoot for 3 hours.
I'm putting up the message on the screen to
damn
hurry us along so that Jason can talk about Astrobot.
All right, so let's go into what we've been playing.
Shigs, talk about Astrobot.
I was gonna say, who's first? Okay. Astrobot. That is possibly one of the best 3 platforms. It's in the top 5 of best 3D platformers of all time. It's just that good. The control is so precise. It is got these little challenges. Well, anyway, let me start at the beginning here. Okay, anybody who's might have seen as the PlayStation 5 has already played an Astrobot game, which was Astro's Playroom, which you kind of go through the history of PlayStation and that's kind of Astrobot's gimmick is he's kind of introduces you to new PlayStation tech. He was also in the PlayStation VR game from the PlayStation 4, showing off how everything works in there. And but the thing is, he's done so flippin' well. I mean, the game plays a little bit like Super Mario Sunshine or Super Mario Odyssey, in that you're going out into all these different 3D environments. You have hover jets on your feet, so when you jump and you can do a double jump and hold, you'll levitate for a little bit. You get little different power ups that you use that are level exclusive for each area. You're
Ooh.
basically going around rescuing all your little Astrobot friends who kind of look like you, except with different disguises and
Except
everything.
branded.
And they're all of their disguises are based on previous PlayStation games, and there are some deep cuts on here. I mean, you will get a Robert from Jumping Flash. You'll have a Parappa the Rapper, and you can get his outfit and stuff.
The
And
most
basically, you're going
obscure
around from.
the most
Sorry,
obscure one
what were
that
you
I
saying?
have seen so far has been I believe references to devil daggers. Have I
The
just
the
said
deep
something that nobody else knows what it is?
Yeah, I don't know what you're
maybe
talking
the
about.
deepest cut I've seen is Polygon Man. They they have a
Really? That I
Polygon
mean,
Man
I
spot to
guess that's a
rescue
deep cut. That was just like a
because
U.S.
that's
ad,
from
right?
because that's from advertising. It was never in a actual game of any sort, and
It would
so
be
that was
like
pretty.
Sega referencing Sekato Sanshiro, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's 6 galaxies altogether. One hidden that you find by finding these little uh, black holes in each not in each level, but like usually 2 levels per galaxy, and that'll take you to another area. Um, and each galaxy also has hidden levels and hidden little planets within each area, so you can find more bots to rescue. 300 in all, and it's good. I haven't completely finished it yet, but it's going to be hard to perfect them because each galaxy also has a what they call the different PlayStation symbols that are on the buttons: a triangle
Shigs.
area,
Hmm.
a circle area, X square area, X area, and each of those has a different single challenge in themselves, and those can be really challenging, but not in a way that's super frustrating. Every single challenge there is, because the controls are so precise, you feel to yourself, I can do this. And you keep coming back to it. I'm like, I know I can do this. I know what I did wrong. I just got to do it this way. There was one really tough area. It was on one of the squares that you were mentioning on the Player One podcast. That it took me like 30 or 40 tries, but I finally got through that one. And it's hard to say there is no notes on this game. It is so freaking perfect in every way, as far as a charming and fun and still challenging platformer goes. It's one of the absolute best.
Huh. Unfortunately, I have not been able to play it yet. Like, it was on my list, but I don't have my PS5 right now for reasons I will touch on later. But I've heard like really good things about it. It's like it's like a super polished platformer on the level of like Super Mario Galaxy. Although then there was also that one Kotaku article that complained about that criticized all of the game references as just being like superficial and stuff.
It's
Which
Astrobot's thing. Is Astrobot kind of just celebrates the history of PlayStation. That's how Astro's
no,
Playroom was on
it
the
wants you to
PS5, but
it
this is
wants you
even more
to
so.
you see it wants you to like what's the word? It wants you to love the brand. Doesn't care about the legacy of gaming. I don't
Well,
know,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the game is actual fun. If it's even if it's like a big walking ad for PlayStation.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
but
it's gonna
I
be
suppose.
times when you're
I mean,
when
let's
you're
let's be
when you're
real
playing
here.
the game and
That
you see an outfit that you don't recognize, and you go, "Oh, what's that from?" And you start looking it
Mm,
up, and maybe you want to play that one.
yeah,
yeah, for me it seems to like have the same appeal as Smash Brothers.
Sure, and Smash Brothers
Smash
is
Brothers is
also
all
a
brand.
big walking brand advertisement for all its
Exactly.
things. Now you can
Yeah.
now obviously you can still, be critical of that. That's a valid criticism if you're looking for games that are developing their own worlds and standing on their own. And yeah, maybe
That's never
I
really been
think that's valid.
Astrobot's thing, though.
No, it's not Astrobot's thing, but like I don't think that's an invalid criticism. I just
Yeah.
think that like most people aren't going to care about that.
But in any case, so like I don't know, so like purely as a platformer, it sounds like it's one of your favorites.
Yeah.
Are there any like
I now
mechanics that?
that after I played it, I kind of wish I had pre-ordered it with the Astrobot controller because the DualSense in itself also plays an important role. It's their spaceship, and you can get them different colors. Plus, the DualSense adds a lot to the game as well. You've got your speaker sound going. You got your different DualSense vibrations, which are insane. It could tell the difference between walking. You can feel the difference between walking on metal, walking on wood,
Oh man,
walking in grass,
I love that from the
walking,
PS5
Some
demo.
sort of
knocking over a
HD
bunch of
rumble, you
apples.
say.
You can, yeah, the rumble tech is extremely precise in a way that's just amazing.
Could you
See,
feel the number of ice cubes in a glass?
to me, that was like one of the most impressive things about the original like PS5 pack-in game was just
That was
what the
Masterbot is the
DualSense could
sequel
do.
to the PlayStation 5 pack-in game. That's the whole
Yeah.
thing. It's one of really only two games that take full advantage of the DualSense. There's not a lot of games that take full advantage of the DualSense.
I don't know. I think we're starting to get more.
I mean, some will
I
have speaker stuff. I mean, I'm playing Star Wars Outlaws, and it has some speaker stuff, but the DualSense stuff,
I mean,
yeah, some of it
Astrobot
has a tiny vibration, some has a big vibration. That's about it.
Astrobot literally exists to teach you how to use your controllers. Like every platform that it's been on,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, this exists to teach you these are all of the things that you could do with your controller. I know that, and I don't even have a PS5.
Yeah, the one thing people were complaining about is there's one or two spots on a level where you have to blow into the mic on your controller.
Ooh,
That only
awesome!
comes up like
Mic blowing
twice,
is
and
back.
that only comes in like 2 or 3 times during the entire game.
Oh, we're getting back to the DS now, boys.
Yeah.
Just shout
All right.
blue into your controller until it reacts.
That's pretty much all I got to say on that. 10 out of 10 game for me. Absolutely love it. Alex, I believe you're playing a game that I've been playing as well.
Yeah, yeah. I've been playing Star Wars Outlaw. I've been looking forward to that game for a while. Like you may remember on previous episodes, I have been playing other Star Wars games because it just put me into a Star Wars mood. And god damn it, I had a lot of fun with that game. like, I'm in the middle of I think I'm like, I don't know, still in the first third of the game or something, because what the first thing you have to do is you have to recruit these different characters for a heist job. So you play this lady, Cat, what's her name, Shigs? Do you remember?
I believe it is.
Cass.
Cass.
K-Vess. K-Vess.
Okay, it was
Good
K-Vess.
start.
So I was right the first time.
So I've been
doubt
playing
myself.
Yakuza, and it's about this guy named Kirikiru and his friend Majima.
I'm not remembering any of the other Star Wars names in this, but yeah, okay. So you play this girl called K-Vess who is trying to do a heist job, and I'm not gonna go into the story, but it's pretty neat. I enjoy K-Vess, I enjoy the characters I've seen so far, but of course the main thrust of this is that it is a Star Wars open world game, which That is something that I have been wanting for as long as there have been open world games, because like Star Wars just has such a rich universe, and on that front, like it's not quite GTA, which disappoints me a little bit. Like
It's not.
you can't
It
go on
sounds
like
like it's a pretty somewhat traditional Star Wars or Ubisoft open world game in the same way that they would have
uh
had like a Far Cry, but with
I
more
wouldn't say
stealth.
it's traditional, but it does have elements. Like there
Yeah,
is
you know what though?
sneaking
I will
around in
say
the
it's.
tall grass, like Assassin's Creed, but
Oh
you're
my god,
not
I've played
like
a lot of Assassin's Creed, and this is a very Assassin's Creed in a lot of ways.
just in the stealth elements. But like you're not like climbing towers or anything like that, and and so like you're going you're driving around this open world on your speeder motorcycle, and you're completing various missions. There's like random missions that will just pop up on your radio, like Imperial. You'll hear Imperials talking about how they found stolen some stolen crates, and they're attacking these pirates, and you can like sneak in and or kill both or whatever, and you get some loot. But the main thing, at least so far, seems to be you have all these different criminal organizations with which you have a rep with each of them. And
And that's the kind of the cool part is you're trying to balance a relationship
yeah,
between
and
all
so
these
like
different gangs and
e-
cartels.
Or
every
not.
most of the missions in this game is about like helping one syndicate while screwing another, and
I
trying to
screw the
like
Pikes every chance I get. I just don't like the
oh
Pikes.
the Pikes are my friends. I'm in good with the Pikes.
Or as I've heard described in other playthroughs I've listened to, getting really close with one faction so that you can then betray them very effectively.
Ooh, I definitely haven't gotten that far yet. Um, but like yeah, I guess like all of the different faction interplay, where like every single mission just about like will give you a choice. Like you can like carry out your original mission, or you can get in on this side hustle and screw over your employers and piss them off. And if you do it enough, like they will become openly hostile to you. So like early on in the game, I really pissed off the Crimson Dawn, which was bad because the the planet they suggest you pick first is Toshara, where they have a large presence, especially in space. And so every time I'm flying it, and so for a long time, every time I was flying in, I'm just getting attacked by this by this Crimson Dawn capital ship that's always in orbit. I don't know what would have happened if I had actually gone ahead and tried to blow them up. But like so there's like consequences to either to pissing them off, and when you when you don't piss them off and you're super friendly with them, then like you can get all these perks and stuff, and you can go through their territory freely without being hassled. So like it really does kind of change how you interact with the world and make it feel more alive in a way that you don't often see in a lot of in a lot of these kinds of open world games. Like I have like the only other game I can think of that was kind of similar to this was Saints Row, where in those games you can like yeah you compete with these other gangs, and you have to like take territory from them and stuff. But that is nothing like this, where you're just kind of like a free agent working for everybody. So so I love that, and also it's just I also really enjoy the gunplay. I enjoy I really enjoy the space combat in this game. The space stuff in general is much closer to what I want Starfield to be. Because like in Starfield, like the space stuff feels very limited. Like you really only have the space outside of a single planet. Where, whereas with this thing, there's a large amount of stuff to explore in each planet you go to, and so you
So
can
So, like, if you're exploring, what kind of stuff would you want to find? Like, what would you find there by just getting around doing things? Like,
Well, you can encounter pirates. You can encounter like little puzzles or things that you have to unlock. Um, and you can like pick up scrap and stuff. And there's also missions you can do in space. So like, and that is more than what Starfield did from what I saw. Unfortunately, like I think Starfield, there's the whole thing just felt much more limited. And so you got all that. The story's really good. There's a pretty cool twist early on where a certain character who like you get real friendly with early on betrays you, and so like and like all these like smaller missions with all these neat little characters and stuff. So I don't know. It's just a really fun game. For me, the biggest issue um was okay. So this game does have some glitches. The most notable glitch is when I accidentally pissed off the Empire too much. And once you get your Wanted level up to a certain level with the Empire, actually, come to think of it, I thought this was a glitch, but it turns out it probably wasn't. But I'll keep going because this was still a problem. So if you piss off the Empire enough, they send the Dark Troopers
oh
after
yeah,
you.
they sure do. Yeah, that's not a glitch. That's them going after you.
I know, but here's the problem that I ran into. Every single time you die, they change where the Dark Troopers are. They just move them across the map.
Well, why would
And
that be a glitch? That sounds like dynamic level
well,
rearrangement.
okay, if you are so this happened to me on the jungle world where um where my ability to get around was very limited. And so wherever they were was this massive big slog where where it was just incredibly difficult to get there, it was very difficult to navigate to wherever they put, and like sometimes they would just put it to a place where I could not reach them. And so like I'm just kind of stuck in this permanent most wanted state until I either die and they respawn in a place where I can currently reach them, or, or like all the or like I don't know, like I ended up like restarting my saves multiple times, and I think eventually I left the planet is what I ended up doing, and I came back and that made the whole thing go away. But it was still annoying.
Is that is that
Um,
is that why SpaceX exists?
yes, SpaceX is designed to help get Elon away from the fuzz.
He has enough.
But
He has enough lawsuits against him for at least 2 lifetimes. I'm hoping he assumes that once you leave orbit or at least leave the atmosphere, that it resets everything.
now, I have not been able to play for the past couple of weeks because I last got it back when I was up at my parents to help them get their house ready for my niece, and I'm trying to get my dad into video games, and
You didn't pick Star Wars, did you?
he wanted to play a Star Wars.
Okay.
So the nice thing about this game
So
is
you
that it
dragged
is
out the NES and your import Famicom cartridge, the one where
no.
Darth Vader turns into a scorpion.
So the
Oh
one
yeah,
fun
he'll love
thing
that
about
one.
this game, which I genuinely appreciate because it helps me in certain situations, is you can make this game. You can there are loads of different accessibility settings where you can like where like of course you can just make the difficulty super easy, but you can also just have every single thing in the game world marked a certain color. And so I kind of got to explore all of that, and I set it all up. And I left my PS5 with him. He told me he was gonna play it, so we'll see. But so like that's one reason why I haven't played Astrobot yet. Um, But one kind of frustrating thing that I ran into with that was that I for most of my playthrough, I basically had my speeder controls broken because um I apparently like switched something on where like if I press down the gas, it will just go. But for whatever reason, that like completely kills its ability to brake, and so I was just constantly crashing into rocks, sending my character flying whenever I want to stop. Thankfully, by the end, I realized, oh, okay, that's why that's happening. So I don't get to look like an idiot blaming the game for that. But anyway, so super fun game. My only real issue with it was that it glitched out. Was that it would sometimes crash. Beyond that, like I didn't really encounter many issues. And if you just want just a fun Star Wars open world game, I do recommend it.
I just look forward to you getting back to your parents and discovering that your father opted instead to go play Yoda stories for Game Boy Color.
I tried to get him to play Lego Star Wars or Astrobot Rescue Mission
I
first,
tried to
but
get my father to play one of the Lego games at one point, and that was too intense for him. He struggled with the controls.
well, my dad just scoffed at the idea of a Lego game. So I don't know. I expect I'm gonna get there and it's gonna like, oh
My
yeah,
God,
I
you are
didn't
his
touch it.
son.
Those are for children.
Anyway, so that's it for me. GX,
So
you also been playing a
I've
thing.
been playing this hot new banger. You probably heard of it. It's the latest and greatest. It's called Yakuza 0. So it's this series about organized crime in Japan, which is I don't think they've ever made games about this before. And you're
I
an
don't think they've
organized
ever had
criminal.
Yakuza in media before. I
No,
think
I don't
that's
believe
new.
so. Or with any association to Sega as a company. Never happened. No, I've been playing Yakuza 0. Um yeah, this is my first time pl- like playing through fully a Yakuza game. I have
Hope you like
absorbed
cutscenes.
a lot of knowledge of the series just through the types of
Man,
communities I hang out with.
this is surprising to me. I could have sworn you played Yakuza before.
And I have tried to I have tried and had a lot of false starts on playing several of the games. Uh a big sort of barrier being like they are kind of well known for being rather long and having a
Hmm.
lot of side content. So it's always been an intimidation to try to actually, not just like boot it up and dick around for an hour, but then also actually get in and play like a game. So this was, and I'll tell you one thing. One nice benefit of unemployment is that you do have more time to play games. And
Hmm.
now that I had the time to actually sit down and fully play a Yakuza game, I crammed 100 hours into the span of 8 days. And yes, if you're running the calculation in your head, that is 12 hours a day. Thank you. Yeah, so I've been
God.
playing it. I've been enjoying it. Yep, the Yakuza series, at least at this point, in where the games were, is a beat 'em up RPG where you use you sort of swap between the series' two major characters, Kiryu and Majima, who are each sort of experiencing this, you know, they're kind of both on the outs with the Yakuza families that they are under and are sort of victims of this upheaval of power structure that they are, just sort of pawns in being like, well, we think we could set this guy up for this, and if we do, that will make them do this, and then that will get us what we want. And like the whole plot is the setting itself is this. major period piece of the late 1980s Japanese bubble economy, where it's a ridiculous fisheye lens of it, where people are just throwing cash around. Like, cash is borderline meaningless in this thing. You literally use cash to unlock nodes on your skill tree. It's presented as like, yeah, invest in yourself, literally. Uh, and you get it by just like managing these specialized like business mini games that are strewn throughout the experience. Kiryu's is a real estate management. I'm gonna I'm gonna say sim, but it's more light than an actual sim. You mostly just dump money into real estate and then eventually get money back out of it. Whereas Majima's is to manage this cabaret club, which basically you're matching these men who come in with a woman who would suit with like, hey, I want to spend time and sit with them and talk with them and spend money and just manage like the moment to moment runnings of a place like that. But all throughout, you're solving this much more extensive story where Kiryu is trying to figure out who set him up to take the fall for a shooting he did not commit, whereas Majima is sent to kill someone that quickly spirals into, well, this wasn't the mission that I was actually sent to do. Uh, and and this was like the turning point for the series as well. It was kind of the point where it finally found footing internationally, and
Yeah, I remember. I was surprised.
a big part of that appeal was it was a bit it always sort of gestured at these, but this was the first one that really leaned into the way that side stories would go on to be handled in the series, which is to say, very weirdly, like Yakuza plays with its tones in a very unusual way. It the main story of it is predominantly this rather brutal, violent melodrama between various factions uh, within a Yakuza organization and the clans within it jockeying for power. But when you're just walking around the town, you're just going to walk into various side stories. You run into a character who's like waiting outside of an arcade being like, "Man, I really I really want to have that claw machine thing. Could you please go get it for me, sir?" And then that leads into like learning about this little girl's backstory, or Kiryu walking into a sort of a slot car racing
Oh,
strip
I've
and
seen footage of that.
getting into this whole mini game chain of, well, now you can buy parts for your cars and build out your car and tune your car for the specific race, and there's like, I don't know, like a dozen races that you can participate in just to continue this one mini game story. So once you get down to it, like if you want to see a little bit of everything that the game has to offer, it's gonna be like 100 hours. Like, it's not a small experience, and a lot
Hmm.
of that comes down to, well, you're just gonna find yourself in this weird situation, telling a weird story, and hopefully wanting to see it through to the end. One of the more
That's why I enjoy Yakuza games, but I rarely finish Yakuza games.
yeah, that's kind of what I was dealing with before,
You know,
and
so I beat the very first Yakuza game on PS2, which like back in the mid 2000s, which I do still have very strong thoughts on, but that would just be a tangent right now. But Yakuza 0, that is like the Yakuza game that I have like put the most time in since then, because I had it because it was like one of the first games to put on my Steam Deck, and I've been wanting to go back to it because I was having a lot of fun. But One unfortunate thing about the Steam Deck for me is that I will sometimes like play a whole bunch of a game and then just stop for a while, like I did with GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, I get that,
So,
especially with this series. It, it's it's challenging. The Steam Deck really suits itself well to like short play bursts. It's tough to kind of
I,
have that
I
long
I
play
do still
session.
need it for longer games. That's the only way I'm beating those 3 games I mentioned is on something like the Steam Deck.
But even then, like Yakuza specifically, it kind of pushes you to keep playing, keep playing,
Hmm.
keep playing. You're gonna see the next dumb thing. You're gonna watch this weird, dumb, yet somehow entirely believable sitcom scenario where Kiryu has to go in and like one of the most memorable ones that is talked about quite often is, well, so there's this kid, and he's standing in an alleyway, and he's like, sad that his mom, he got into a fight with his mom, saying, I wanted something from in that machine over there." And Kiryu, who is just like the angriest looking, most wonderful puppy dog you've ever met, who just wants to help everyone. Is just like looking down, is like, I guess I can help you." He looks over at the machine, and it's full of porno mags. The kid doesn't understand what that is, but he just knows, like, oh, that's a cool machine, I want it. It's like, kid, I can't get that for you. It's like, oh, adults. They're always lying to you. Am I gonna grow up to be an adult? Am I gonna lie to everyone? Am I gonna grow up? And it's like, here you just think that I was like, oh, it's just like my experience as a kid. And then it just leads into this stealth mission where Kiryu has to get to the porno mag machine without getting caught by these women who are on a smoke break and back.
Oh my god.
so I gotta
That's
know what are the two arcade games at the Club Sega?
So the ones in this one are it's a pretty great selection. There's Outrun. If you basically continue to form a relationship with the girl who manages the arcade, you can then get Super Hang On. And then in the other city, it starts as uh, forward scrolling shooter. Has a really killer soundtrack.
Space Harrier?
Space Harrier. You start
yeah.
out with Space Harrier, and if you continue to build a relationship with the manager there, she will upgrade it to Fantasy Zone.
You know, they really need to put Planet Harrier on a Yakuza game.
What?
Planet Harrier, the sequel to Space Harrier.
Oh, I've never played that. I don't know if I've ever heard of it.
It's a very rare arcade game that I only played once, but it's a fully polygonal rail shooter on an arcade machine that like on arcade hardware that's like only like put like 2 or 3 games on.
There might be a reason
Really,
why it's not in there.
but it's fun.
I trust you, but also that might be the reason why it's not in there.
Because I find it fun, so it's just trying to spite me.
No, because it was on hardware that they maybe made 2 or 3 games for.
Oh, yeah, true.
So yeah, I had great fun of that. For my health and my loved ones, I am not starting directly into Kiwami. Although the people that I've talked to about the game, basically their experience was, yeah, I was employed for a bit, and I used that as an opportunity to basically catch up on the series. And I'm sitting here and like, I can't do that. I would die.
Yeah, that was reminds me of the time when I was unemployed playing Monster Hunter 3 on the Nintendo Wii. I put like 150 hours into that game.
Always best to pace yourself on those things.
Yeah, now I'm
Yeah.
playing UFO 50, so I'm looking forward to talking about that next. Oh, and hey, the Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge just got a new update with 2 new characters,
Oh
and
yeah, that's on Game Pass. I should
Yeah,
give
I
that. I
actually
should give that a
just
try.
got that because I'm gonna gotta babysit the nephews tomorrow. I'm gonna bring over my Switch because they got a Switch with the base, but of course I got a lot more games and they like Ninja Turtles and they don't have that game, so
they they
that'll
added
be one for the play.
they added Mona Lisa and Mondo Gecko. So,
Yes, the Mondoist of geckos.
and a whole remix soundtrack that even if you don't buy the DLC, you still get all of these remixes with a really sweet Onomonoguchi remix.
So, this is not the only thing that you've played. You've also been playing some fan games, as have I. Unfortunately for both of us,
This
it
is
feels like for
this
the
is where
past
I
couple of
bow out for a
years,
little bit.
something has sort of happened that has made covering Sage difficult.
Uh, Timing more than anything.
Yes. Like I said earlier, I was at my parents', and I was at my parents' while Sage was running, which was not my original plan.
Yeah, you remember
So,
you remember how I said I fit Yakuza in like 100 hours of Yakuza into 8 days? Guess which 8
yeah.
days those were? I couldn't
Sage.
yeah, I couldn't stop. I tried to be like, yeah, I gotta actually play some of these games. And it's like,
Should I have, I don't know, sent a message or something? I was trying to be understanding.
no, even if you did, I would have probably blown you off because I
Ah.
was a man obsessed. Like I said, I can't start Kiwami because I know what it's gonna do to me.
Start Kiwami after Sonic X Shadow Generations.
I'm we'll see. I have to be very cautious because I also have to look for jobs. So
Yeah.
I
All
talked
right.
I played some games though. I played like I think
We both played some
we
games.
both played some games. I picked the ones that I thought were most interesting, potentially most interesting first. Although the really sad part is I'm all about like the original stuff. I didn't get to play
Yeah.
anything original. Like there was one that looked amazing. It was like a tile-based puzzle game, and then you could press a button and leap down in, and it suddenly became a boomer shooter. And it's like, what
Well,
are we doing here?
one thing I want to do is I want to like just take a week at some point in the near future to just go through a bunch of Sage stuff and record it and write it up and just get on the site.
I,
Like,
I might try to do another stream of games and stuff like the original stuff.
but for now, I have played Sonic Rush 3D, Knuckles Quest, and a little bit of Sonic Ultra Saturn. And you have also played some Sage
I
stuff.
got Sonic Rush 3D, Sonic Adventure Blast 2, I believe Sonic 2 Rescue Tales, Sonic Skyfall, Sonic Blossom, Sonic Jam Remake, and Sonic Tameshi. I remember
Oh
some of
yeah,
them.
you recommended Tameshi.
Tameshi was
That was the
decent.
next one I wanted to try.
Yeah, Tameshi was decent. It had some style to it. Uh, yeah. It was an interesting time. I guess we could start off with Sonic Rush 3D. That seemed to be the
Yeah, yeah.
premier
So
game they were pitching.
I enjoyed that significantly more than you. I suspect it might come down to the fact that this feels Sonic Rush 3D feels very Sonic Unleashed inspired in terms of like its level design and and its difficulty.
It's gonna be it's a challenge to go back from how Frontiers feels. Frontiers feels way better to me than a lot of the prior versions of that Sonic gameplay.
Huh, even Generations.
Even Generations, yeah. The way the amount of control you have over Sonic in that game, absolutely. Like
Hmm.
whenever I go back to some of those other games, it was shocking how stiff turning felt whenever you turning or just slightly adjusting your position whenever you were going at high speed. And this
Well,
was particularly nasty with that. There was like a section in the level where it opens up into a clearing of trees, and the struggle I had just trying to not hit something, I could be holding one of the directions, and it was just so
Hmm.
plotting in trying to move left or right from that point that it was just
Hmm.
it wasn't the fidelity I was looking for at the pace that it wanted to move at.
Well, if I'm being honest, for me, the best controlling Sonic game I've played is probably Dream Team, because you can just like
Dream Team controls
boost
pretty
and
well, yeah.
platform, and there's just this spectacular flow that you can get if you time things right. But regardless, like on the sake, so Sonic Rush 3D for me, like how I describe it is, it's like Sonic. It's like mix. You take Sonic Rush, you mix it with Sonic Unleashed with a bit of Generations, and that is clearly what they're going for here. So it's like it's a boost game, but with a heavy focus on tricks, and a heavy focus on like a multitude of paths. It's like, it's one of those like really branchy games in terms of its in terms of like the places you can go, which I really appreciate. I really enjoy the level design in this because it is a game where like in addition to like being able to just like use, I don't know, the boost and your reflexes to get around and get to different paths, utilizing the tricks correctly is also critical. So like because looks like in Sonic Rush 3D, the tricks work like they do in regular Rush, where they fill your boost bar, and they are used for an amount of traversal, and so like you can do an up trick to get up to a higher platform, and you can do a forward trick to give yourself the boost you need to get to a platform in front of you. And to me, like all of this stuff kind of comes together to make for a very addicting boost game that provides a lot of variety in its traversal.
I
And I was like legit just addicted to that demo for a couple of days.
That's
It,
probably the biggest issue I had with it is that I kind of feel like it's trying to do too much. Like it's doubling up on what actions controls each button does. And from
that
there, I
did
just
throw me
found it
off.
really confusing of like, okay, which one do I have the trick button? Which, oh wait, the trick button's also the drift button, but this it's also this button, and it kind of just feels like, okay, you're having to deal with all of the standard 3D Sonic moves where you have your stomp, you have your boost, you have, God forbid, for some reason we still have drift in these games, which I don't think it has ever needed or has ever felt good, but it's there.
I like the drift.
I like drift in racing games. This does not feel racing game good drift. It
Hmm.
feels so freaking loose and just not especially satisfying to me.
By
Uh,
and large, like at the very least, where you drift, they don't
but
like give you much opportunity to like fall into a pit,
play some
and
Mario
so
Kart
that
and
gave
tell me
me the
that this
space I
drift is
needed.
good.
That gave me the space I needed to kind of learn how to use it, and by the end, I felt pretty comfortable with how the game in general controls. Like my only real issue with the game control wise was the forward trick, where I found it very hard to direct it properly. Like with the forward trick, you have to like move yourself in a very specific direction, and I felt like it was a bit of a crapshoot whether or not Sonic would go where I want him to go or go like slightly off from where I want him to go.
I just didn't
And
find
I
that useful. Like in
Oh,
the
it
actual,
is very useful if you're trying to reach some paths in this game.
well, I found the jump to be useful for the like midair leap to be useful for something like that. I didn't
I
find
could
the
not get
spin kick to
to
be
some
especially
platforms with
useful.
that. Mm.
Like and my point of comparison is I would find that extremely useful in standard Sonic Rush. Like
Hmm.
just as just as a way to act as a attack once you've jumped off a spring, because when
But
you jumped off a string in that, you are actually vulnerable. You are not in ball form.
it took me a couple of tries to get used to what the game wanted me to do. But once I got beyond that, like I was good enough at that I was addicted enough to it to want to perfect my skill with it, and by the end of it, like I felt very comfortable with how the game played.
Maybe it would feel better over several levels, but I think I played that level about 3, 4 times, and I was never comfortable with how
uh,
it felt.
I probably played it a couple dozen.
What the frick is wrong with you?
You know how I play Sonic games, GX.
I do know how. That's why I said what I did.
Like I love perfecting a run in a thing I'm enjoying. So like that is something that Dream Team is really being good at right now, which we'll get into later. Um,
12 times.
but
Christ.
but like yeah, like once I got comfortable with the controls, like I really enjoyed how everything worked together to make what I felt was kind of a somewhat deeper boost experience. Now, I will say this: for me, the I do have some issues with the game, some modest niggles. A big one is kind of an issue I remember having with the previous level demo that they made a couple of years ago, where some aspects of the level geometry just feel misplaced. Like there is this one tree branch in the transition from the second part of the stage to the first part of the stage to the second part of the stage that you will just always hit. It is just not placed where it needs to be. It is just in the way. And it just kind of gets in the and just like it impedes your ability to kind of continue with the with the flow of gameplay, and it's like it's never killed me, but it just sticks out as just kind of a little bit of like unprofessional game design, which I know fan game, but like it's if they just like remove this one tree branch, that whole little area will just play a lot better. And there's a couple of places like that. I go into it in my hands-on preview on Sonic Stadium, but like overall, like of the three games I played, this was my favorite. Um, now I think I'm gonna go into the second game I played, and then we'll go into a thing you played. Um, so the next game I played was Knuckles Quest, which I admit part of what there were two things that attracted me to this. One was that it had Knuckles in it, of course. It was the rare Knuckles fan game, but also it was short. It was a single level. Um, and it's this is a game where they're trying to like kind of make like a whole game out of Knuckles' treasure hunting gameplay, and at the
Which,
moment
if for real, that like think of what you want about the actual gameplay, like the actual progression of those stages. Knuckles
yeah,
feels really good in those.
yes, and like I do think that there would be that there is like some potential in that gameplay style that Sonic Team never fully teased out, and also they just felt, if I'm being honest, they just did not, they felt out of place next to the superior speed stages anyway. But like so the demo is still kind of basic. It's kind of just one open area uh where you need to collect three emerald shards, which are randomized throughout the stage. You can play as Knuckles or Rouge. They have their basic moves like glide and punch kick and uh, drill down, although they can't dig yet. And you just kind of need to work with the level gimmicks to get to the various emerald pieces. Like maybe they'll just be sitting like just like over a platform or on top of a tree, or they might be hidden in a building which you need to bring the right key to unlock. And that probably one of the most like interesting little platforming challenges in this demo is one where the building is is across this chasm, and you need to bring the key to it. You can't glide to and you can't glide it there. And you have to like do like legit platforming across these expandable tree flower things. and so like
Sorry.
it kind of forces them to be to engage in a kind of a little platforming challenge. But like overall, it was kind of just your standard treasure hunting gameplay, and this is more one of those projects where I'm looking forward to seeing where they take it.
It
Like there's a couple of interesting ideas here. There's like the different there's like different trees with different properties, and different buildings have different obstacles inside and stuff like that. So there's
yeah,
plenty to expand on. Go on.
I got the vision that this is mostly a fan project to reproduce with additional content rather than just sort of dramatically change up the core ideas
Yeah,
that exist already.
yeah. So well, my point is, I'm looking forward to seeing like where this project goes as they develop the game. So GX, what was the thing that you've played?
I played a game called, bringing up my Steam library so I can look it up. I played something called Sonic Adventure Blast 2. And
Oh yeah, that was one of the ones that caught on your stream.
yeah, I would say one of the best things that you could do as a fan game, above all else, is make sure that moving around feels good. That the actual act of,
Yeah,
character movement is very satisfying. And well, I have some criticism of the level design, like that's stuff that can be worked on, but if you're
there
starting
was
from
some
like a
crazy
really
level
sad
design in that.
that it was weird. Like it was certainly very unusual. Sometimes a bit frustrating, but by and large, like the controls made sense. The actual act of moving was satisfying. It was interesting to see that it feels a bit jokey. Like it feels like it's just on the verge of being a meme game without
Hmm.
necessarily going all the way there. But like there's some things that I noticed in it, like the character model that it was using was basically ripped right from the Mania special stages, which I know because when I have ripped things from Sonic Mania, I noticed that, oh, the 3D models in that they aren't rigged and animated. No, they are one separate model for every frame of animation that it has. And
Really? That's how that works.
that's how that works. It just replaces the model each time. And that's what this
Jesus.
game does for the most part. For certain parts like standing still, it seems like they actually rigged it to do weird animations. Animations like dabbing whenever you finish a level. um
My
but
God, there's dabbing.
yeah, it's 2000, what, like 2017 all over again. I don't know.
Well, the best memes are the old memes.
But yeah, I didn't get very far in it just because there's a lot there. But it does feel like, hey, we took these elements from classics, from other 3D Sonic games. We mixed in a few elements that are a little bit more handcrafted and just sort of created something that feels reasonably good and is, at least fun. It's at least fun to play. I would recommend checking it out. I don't necessarily know if it's something that I'm going to follow through its development as I would some other Sage projects that I have checked out in the past, but it's an interesting little curio. Uh, and like if you're looking for something that feels all right, I would say feels all right.
So the final game I had time to play was Sonic Ultra Saturn, which what attracted me to this was like, oh hey, this is a Sonic game trying to be like a 2D Saturn game, and I'll admit this was probably my least favorite.
That's unfortunate.
The first level felt a little uninspired in terms of its level design. Like whenever I'm playing a 2D Sonic game, especially, I'm always looking for the gimmicks. How does this like differentiate its levels from your standard green hill? And
I can tell you
like
from the screenshots, it looks really good.
oh, visually, the game looks great. Like that, like I hate to say it, that I'll often like pick my first few Sage games just by how they look visually, and this one just hit all the right notes. But the first couple of levels were a little, I don't know,
Just maybe
like
a bit too plain.
a bit too plain. The second level was more interesting. It kind of and the boss battle I kind of for the first stage kind of uses like super scalar effect that I did not find to be very intuitive to actually like play. Um, but I don't know. For all I know, maybe it's because I was playing on my Steam Deck. But the second level is definitely more interesting. It's kind of like a bean themed construction site, and so there were some kind of like construction themed gimmicks and stuff. But I admit I also found the platforming in that to be a little frustrating at times. There's just like this one platforming challenge about midway through, I think, the first act, where like you need to really like navigate both vertically and horizontally, and if you fall you lose all your progress, and that's always kind of frustrating to have to deal with in a Sonic type game. But I don't know, like apparently this game is pretty good. Like I know Time Extension likes it, and so what I'm hoping is that later on the game manages to hook me,
Time Extension likes a
because
lot of things.
like the visuals are you saying Time Extension's not a good uh judge of game?
Sometimes.
Well, anyway, but like I don't know, it's on my Steam Deck. I want to go back to it, um but like the visuals are on point, and that really makes me want to hope that the game gets better and more interesting. So we'll see.
Yeah,
um
that seems like it seems like the thing that as I sometimes refer to these games, that seems like it's built on something solid that might be, refinable, as opposed
yeah.
to starting from a much more rough place, which I might describe Sonic Skyfall as.
Ah.
So the issue with Sonic Skyfall, okay, my issue is I don't want to be super mean to this, because this is, to be blunt, this is a kind of game that everyone who wants to make 3D game design will probably need to make at some point. I am also not going to be too mean about this because
It's a fan game. We're not
yeah,
mean about fan games.
exactly. I don't want to be too mean about it.
Like I would
Uh,
not even talked about Sonic Ultra Saturn if not for the fact that that was one of the only 3 games I played.
my struggle with it is this appears to be based off the Infinity Engine, which is an existing Sonic Unreal Engine gameplay engine.
Mm.
I believe. I think. Is it based in Unreal? I know Infinity Engine is a thing.
Um,
I can't remember if Infinity Engine
I
itself
don't
is
know if it's
Unreal.
based in Unreal, but I know that an Infinity Engine is a Sonic engine.
So this might have maybe this was just a sample of like, hey, we're porting this to Unreal or something. The actual gameplay of it is, I would say, it feels like a dump things into an Unreal environment that you got off the storefront type game.
Okay, yeah, I
Well,
think I
that's
saw you
not
play
good.
this one too.
Yeah, it like this is, to be fair, like the problem is my point of reference for this kind of game is people who make garbage and sell it on Steam. But
Well, like this is a fan game, so I'm assuming that
but
for this that hopefully it sounds like where they're starting.
yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a reason why people make that game, and it's because you have to learn how to use the tools. Like, you have to learn how to use a gameplay engine, and you put stuff in an environment and you interact with it, and like it's all right from that stage. But I would say, like, hey, well, I would say the reason why I'm couching it in this way is it could be very easily you could very easily look at screenshots and say, "Oh, this looks like a very professional looking game." And it's not that. It's not quite that. It's still very rough. It still has extremely simple boxy level designs. It still kind of feels like a bunch of interactable props strewn around an environment that they want you to just run around through. And yeah, it's fine. It's okay. Like, it is what it is. It feels like an early game. Uh the one thing I wish I could have played but did not get a chance to was Sonic Gamebook's Origins. I don't know if you had a
Oh,
chance to
you didn't play that,
No,
man?
I wanted to. Time-wise, it just didn't work out. It seems fascinating because the thing is, I have a complete set of the Sonic game books. And basically what they are is it's sort of like a choose your own adventure attached to an RPG system. Um I've watched a lot of people stream these style of books, and that's what's fascinating to me is just like they seem like they could be dopey and weird and fun and have an element of like gameplay dice throwing wrapped into them that I would love to experience and have been struggling to kind of figure out, well, how could I stream this? And much in the
Well, now
same
you can.
much in the same way that someone ported all of the McDonald's LCD games last Sage.
I wonder if it was the same person. Like, it seems like a similar kind of
They're
thing to
still using
do.
the word or like they're both using the word origins. I don't know if it's the same person or not, but like God bless whoever's doing it. So, but yeah, I could touch on a couple other things real quick if you want, unless we want to move
Yes,
on.
please.
Uh Sonic 2 Rescue Tales is a pretty solid reinterpretation of Sonic 2 for Game Gear slash Master System. I got reasonably far in that. It's not quite up to the level of like a Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit, but I think it is pretty solid as like a 2D Sonic game. Like
Hmm.
it's pretty decent. It doesn't really dwell too much on the roughest parts of Sonic 2 cuz Sonic 2 8-bit is an extremely rough game. Like
Yeah.
it's mean in some places, it's challenging to control in others.
Like
Its level design
the
is
second
yeah.
level in that is just terrible.
Their green oh, do you remember their Green Hill Zone? Do you remember their
I never
godforsaken
got
Green
that
Hill Zone?
far.
The boss for that stage is this massive, well, it's at the end of this massive sort of spring challenge where you're just sort of expected to find where springs are that are off screen and
Is
not
this the
fall off the
Master
edge of the.
System or Game Gear version?
I mean, it's sort of a 16-bit inspired reinterpretation of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it does not get into the worst habits of the originals. And I think it's neat. I think it's worth checking out. I played Sonic Blossom. Sonic Blossom has a really solid aesthetic, but it does feel like a very early game. Its engine's a little wonky. And its level design is similarly. I had a good time with Sonic Tameshi, and I can remember nothing about it.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
aside from that, I'm gonna skim some screenshots and see if that jostles my memory in the slightest. I remember its special stage slightly, where it has this sort of I don't know, doodle jump style special stage where you're climbing this vertical screen to get to the top of it. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, yeah, I don't know. My brain decided, no, we don't need this. Let's remove this from active retention. So,
Well, your brain is stupid.
my brain has always been stupid. It has been a constant struggle between me and it to remember the things that are actually worth remembering. Instead, I remember a lot of names of Sonic characters, which is way less useful
Ooh,
than names or dates of real things and people.
like Wes Weasley.
I remember Wes Weasley. I don't remember any character name from Hitman Reborn, despite watching 150 episodes of that anime.
What about Renfield Rodent?
Dear God, why do I remember that name? Yeah, I remember that name, and I don't remember my best friend's birth date.
Oh
So,
Jesus.
no, I
Okay,
actually.
well, like
That's why I have Google Calendars.
like the next month is going to be very busy, but hopefully, we'll find the time to revisit some of these things,
You
like
want to know about
Sonic
anything
Tameshis.
about American history? Don't ask me. I don't remember
Oh,
names or
I know
dates of
stuff about
anything.
American history.
Is Shadow in it?
I mean, from 2001 onward, he is.
Does that qualify as American history? I guess it takes place
Sonic
in
Adventure
San
2 released in
Francisco.
America.
Takes place in San Francisco, I guess, for a
Yeah,
period of
that
time.
too. Shigs, are you there?
Did we lose you?
Yes, I am. I'm still
Okay,
here.
cool. All right, just making sure.
Did
I
we
know
do
you
a
had to
fantastic
leave
job
earlier.
selling you on these fan games?
No, I mean, whenever I hear Unreal Engine, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm out because those things just take up so much resources when it comes to your, computer or your Steam
Well,
Deck and everything, and they run like crap.
that was just
I
Skyfall.
I I ran into something that I had to look up with a game that would have been something I really wanted to play, but it still in a very rough state. It is called Sonic Jam Remake,
Oh yeah.
which is attempting to remake the Sonic Jam, the Sonic Jam for the Gamecom, and it's in a
Well, you
pretty
think
rough state
Knuckles would
right
be
now.
all over that?
I mean, I would have been. However, I think what they did was that they built it over another game or game engine, like a different fan game or fan game engine, and didn't quite know how to do that. Like there is like I straight up made the game boot back into the original game that it
Oh
was built
wow.
off of through a restart. And I went to look on the message board, the comments to make sure, like, did I break this? Like, what's going on here? And the author of the game said, yeah, I know, I couldn't figure out how to do this. So if you do that, this is gonna happen. So,
Hmm.
uh, I I am very much interested in the idea of this, but it has a lot of work to go.
Well, Sonic Jam for the Gamecom is a very flawed game, so
Yeah,
maybe this game having issues is just it being accurate to the source material.
yeah, but it didn't contain a whole different game.
But true. I don't think the devs had enough time to do that
I
in the
wish them luck
original.
in their endeavors. It's just it's not quite there yet.
Well, you know what? That's what Sage 2025 is for.
That's the motto of Sage. We aren't quite there yet. But no, there's so many things that I want to jump back into. There's
Mecha Nico. I've been waiting for you to
yeah.
revisit that for years. It
Oh,
feels
I
like.
feel like I've revisited it. Uh, it's been in four Sages, and I think I've played two of them so far because I have not gotten to it yet this year. But I am I am this game's biggest advocate or something right now, at least in I don't know Sonic fan writing. So I want to go. There are so many good-looking original games right now that I just need to. I think that like Team Sleigh Bells looks good. Like it looks neat. Tech Pack I know has been in multiple Sages thus far. I haven't been able to touch it at all, and I want to play it. Dear God.
Well, let's try to I don't know, block out some time either in the middle of October or November.
Oh, you're going to want to keep an eye on something called Wicker, with a 3
Oh
instead of an
yeah,
E.
yeah. I know while you're saying that, that was also on my short list
Yeah,
because that was that's based on Sonic. What was it called?
I don't
The,
remember, but I remember you really liked it whenever it was the Sonic fan game, and now they basically
yeah,
just turned it into an original game.
the Sonic game. The Sonic game I really liked last year. It's that now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that will if we do manage to revisit Sage this year, that will be one of my games.
by all means. We'll have to jump on a stream together and try to figure out like, okay, let's play some of the ones that you want, let's play some of the ones that I want.
Hmm. All right. So we should move on to the next big discussion point, which Shigs can actually participate in.
Yes.
So, Dark Beginnings. That got a trailer yesterday and finally came out today. The trailer showed off some cool action sequences from across all 3 episodes, and it revealed the release dates for today, October 3rd, October 10th. And I don't know, I admit the one thing I really remember from the trailer is just that awesome shot with Omega and the rail gun.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
I don't know. I think that the episode that like episode 1 had lots of really cool shots in it, and if the trailers is any indication that it's gonna be like that in all the episodes.
Like we were actively like kind of worried that was like, are they actually going to release this thing today? Because it felt like they just kept
Yes,
like we were waiting and checking every hour on the hours like, are they actually
Yep.
going to release this?
that was
Where
very
is it?
annoying. It's like, okay, I got some time. I'm gonna write up this thing for the 12 p.m. debut. 8 hours later,
Of
it
course
finally comes out.
to be fair, they never announced
Or like 12 a.m.
yeah, they never announced an actual time. They just said it was going to be today. And we generally assumed that, like, okay, well, East or West Coast time it would be 9. East Coast time, the same time would be 12. That's normally when stuff like this happens. It's probably when they might. And then we checked back at 1. And then we checked back at 2. And then eventually it was 8 p.m. Eastern, and
And
it
we were
just went
about to
up.
start the podcast, and I'm
Yeah.
all like, okay. And you asked me when are we going to start, and I'm saying a little after 8 p.m. because I'm hoping this is the last chance for them to do it. I don't want them to start it while we're on the show.
I believe you accused me of somehow taking it out, and I did not deny that accusation.
Yes, I did. At like around 7:30, Shun Nakamura tweeted breakfast beginning, and it's like, oh, okay, this has to mean it's coming at like 9 a.m. Tokyo time, right? And thankfully that was the case, and we got to watch it, and Shigs and I enjoyed it.
I'm just I'm
I know
just
that much.
remembering yesterday's like aside from yesterday being the most frickin' insane news day ever, it it was also a level 5 presentation, and I think they aligned that insofar as like it was at night in Tokyo, but it was like 8 a.m. in the US with US subtitles. So it was like, yeah, I get it. Like trying to manage multiple regions and time zones is very difficult.
So Shigs, why don't you start us off?
Well, it's interesting because you're going into the past, you're going back to, Shadow with Maria on the Colony Arc, and you're not sure if this is just a flashback or are they just starting their origins all over again. But no, once the action starts going, things just start seeming off. He gets into a fight with G Emerald on the base, which surprised me because
Emerald.
I don't remember him being in.
This was in the Sonic Battle backstory. Like, this was
Yeah,
actually a thing that
there's
has been established.
there's all sorts of, if you've ever like played Sonic Battle, there's all sorts of these like Professor Gerald notes about how he found Gemerald and studied Gemerald this whole time. It's
And
weird.
so now
Just
General's like a major part of Shadow's backstory.
there's like this window for like a hot second where the Gizoids were super freaking important, and that they just vanished off the face of the earth. It's like they were in multiple games. They were the plot contrivance for like many games. It's like no, we're done. We're
They were
moving on to
in,
stuff.
as I recall, it was Battle, Advance 3, Sonic X, that really bad Sonic Battle adaptation, and also Sonic Chronicles, right?
You could count Sonic Advance 3, I think.
Oh yeah, but Sonic Advance 3 has General in it.
What is the other one? The black one?
The black one is General.
Then what's Emerald. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's the only
Names
Gizoid
are
that's
stupid.
still around. It's just everything else got just suddenly disappeared.
It,
I will say, yeah, that
fell
was a
into the
nice little
black
fighting
hole that-
sequence between the two of them, and the way the animation just kept on, picking up throughout the whole thing was
Oh, the
was
animation is
very sweet. And
great
the art
for
style is just
what it
really
is.
sweet.
It has
Yeah,
This whole thing had shockingly high production value for something that's intended to be
it's the highest
promotional.
production value they've had of any of their little anime,
I-
cartoons they put out so far.
So okay. Let's say conspiracy theory hat on. Let's don all our tinfoil hats.
I don't have tinfoil or will aluminum work.
Do we think this looks as nice as it does because of Sony money?
Yeah, no, I don't think
I,
so because the
I don't think
Knuckles
so.
one for Sonic Frontiers looked almost as good as this one.
Oh
It
no,
looked really
no,
sweet.
Knuckles and
But this
Sonic.
one's
That was
I'm talking
no.
about
These
an
are not
artistic
comparable.
style. This one's more heavy on action.
If I'm
in
gonna
its
be
animation.
honest, while I do think this definitely has the higher budget in terms of like animation and stuff, I do prefer how the
Sure.
Knuckles short looked.
Oh sure, yeah. This is yeah.
But like the production values for these things have been going up for years, and like it does seem to me that Sega just has more money to throw around for Sonic in general. So
They have,
maybe it's Sony money. Like
they-
maybe at least Sony contributed something to it, but I don't think that's like necessarily needs to be the case for this.
they have Hollywood voice actor money apparently.
Yeah, yes, they do. But like I really did enjoy the opening moments with Shadow and Maria, because like in the older Sonic stuff, like we very rarely ever actually got to see them together, like doing anything. It's like, Shadow, I'm dying. Please don't blow up the world. And then she, presses the button off, usually off screen, unless it's Sonic X. So it was just nice seeing them like kind of share a moment, as fleeting as it was. It was really cool seeing them get in on all the action. Although I don't know, like I am disappointed that we didn't get that this episode wasn't mostly just Shadow on the arc, which it was more of just like Shadow's mind being affected by, I'm assuming, Black Doom. Like, there's a bit of a mind deaf.
It's like having a
this
dream
does kind of
about his
transition to a
past
mind
and
f sequence.
stuff
What you
that
go?
doesn't make sense is getting in there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's something surreal. I did appreciate that it kind of leaned into the surreal, but I think my immediate takeaway was like, oh, like it made his relationship with Maria a little bit less believable. That Shadow seemed like he was perhaps always a sad boy, a sad angry boy.
Like, I don't know. I don't think being angry that hasn't helped Maria yet is that unbelievable.
I I don't know. Like
Like,
to then make it his life's mission to be like, well, now I have to protect the world in her name. Is like, well, we need to kind of buy that they had that level of relationship, and
well, unfortunately, this is like a 5-minute episode, so that there was never going to be a whole lot of time for that.
there could be if you decide that that's important. Like maybe that's something that they'll explore in the game. I'm a little skeptical, but like,
Well, we do know that like there is more
All we get
Maria
is
in
like,
the game. Like we'll
all
be
you get is
getting
like,
into that a
Maria,
bit
I
later.
failed you. Instead
but
of like, here comes the tickle monster.
But
but
what I really want from this whole thing is more of Shadow on the arc with Maria and Gerald. And I was happy we got a little bit of that, but I do agree that we definitely do need more of that. Like,
yeah, you need look like you need to set up the relationship between Peter and Uncle Ben to make what happens there meaningful. And they've not really
Right.
done that. Like they don't really explore Shadow's life at that point, despite having multiple missions in Shadow the Hedgehog where you literally go into the past and address things in there.
but
We
now I
got to
do
keep this
think
under 6
that
minutes. Let's wrap this up, people.
but I do think that like in the context of like the short of the that they do effectively deliver Shadow and Maria's relationship. Like I
They
like
set something up,
for
yeah.
for the amount of length that there is, and I
But
am looking forward to where they where they go with the next 2 episodes.
I
Where I'm assuming we're going to get more of Rouge and Omega.
maybe. I feel like it doesn't have any nuance that they haven't already kind of set up. I think the thing that they get into that is probably the most significant in it is the reminder of the detail of why Maria's there in the first place, which they never really seem to
Hmm.
talk about in any of the other games. That she's there
Oh yeah,
because she's
like
sick.
the whole Niggs thing was never even mentioned in a game. Like I think they may have just been a manual or Sonic X or something. Like compared to what we've got in previous games, they have already fleshed this stuff out.
Mids was only mentioned
Which
in Archie,
was
from if
well,
I'm
I don't
thinking
think that was
correctly.
like I don't
They
think that. Oh right, yeah, Niggs was mentioned in the very first backstory in issue 98, wasn't it?
I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm
Oh,
referring to the illness that she is experiencing is why she is in the space colony arc.
yeah. Well, Shig said it was in Archie, and remembering where in Archie it was, and it was like the first story, I think. Um,
Okay, yeah,
but
they don't touch on that, but they also have not really gotten into the relationship between Shadow and Maria at all until like we'll say this game.
yes, which is like one of the major flaws of Sonic Adventure 2 that I keep pointing out whenever people say that its story was so amazing.
Yeah, you have to set up characters in order to deliver on those characters. They didn't set up any characters and they did not deliver on those characters.
But regardless, like this is not an SA2 takedown. But I don't know. Like like I said, looking forward to seeing where they take things in the next 2 episodes. Shigs, do you have anything to add?
Nothing too much. No, like you're saying, it would be nice to get extra detail, but I have a feeling these shorts are just going to give us the bare minimum that we need to know as we're going into the game itself, and probably the video game itself will give more information in its cutscenes than we're getting here.
Yeah.
Oh, like I would expect that. Like this is supposed to be a prologue,
Yeah,
so
it's going to serve the same purpose as the Knuckles thing, which is to say it's going to vaguely set things up, but it's also going to try to deliver on like putting focus on a character and maybe giving them like a little bit of nuance.
hmm. All right. So moving on to general news. And we're still on the subject of Shadow.
We're
And
always on the
this is
subject of Shadow. We can't escape the freaking black hole that is the fearless year of impossible amounts of news.
the black hole with the black hedgehog. So Izuka says that evil Shadow could make a return of sorts at some point in the future.
What does that even frickin' mean?
Like, from what I can gather,
He's already very much an anti-hero, very much almost a villain
Is
in
he?
himself. So
Is he, Jason? Tell me when
eh,
he is. What was the last time that he was air quote evil, or at least morally ambiguous?
well, he's been morally ambiguous for a while. I mean, as far as
When?
like,
evil,
When?
I wouldn't say evil. I mean, he's been an
Look,
absolute jerk.
look. Okay,
But
Shadow's not.
I'm saying he's more of an anti-hero, but evil's just like just a slight lean to the left for him, or lean to the right, whichever way.
I really don't think so.
Look, okay.
It's like what kind of bugs me about this statement is that the whole Shadow being evil thing in the original in Sonic Adventure 2 was just like again something they didn't really explain in the game. Was just like Gerald's brainwashing of Shadow to make him want to destroy all humans. What like Bender Rodriguez. Um, and like he's past that now. Like that cannot remotely be his motivation now.
Here's the thing.
So
Shadow's.
Except it kind of was in Shadow Shadow the Hedgehog, where the Black Doom's wanting him to, go on that side, and he's like, "Oh, okay, maybe," and if
Shadow
you
the
choose
Hedgehog
for
makes no
Shadow to be
sense.
an evil
Yeah,
or good,
Shadow the Hedgehog's a bad game with a bad story, and it doesn't accurately reflect any parts of these characters.
then yeah, but you're also forgetting that Shadow's, as for the most part, is usually a badly written character.
He is,
Yes.
but he is easy to at least understand. Like, if you one of the issues I have is that they don't really lean into this, and they just lean into him being an asshole. But if you're doing Shadow correctly, like they did in Sonic Prime, the difference between Sonic and Shadow is they both share similar goals, but Shadow is bitingly pragmatic about it. He's competitive, yes,
Yes.
but he's much more pragmatic about the most direct, most effective solution, which that's you can treat that as evil per se, but I also feel like that's not really a not really a fundamental understanding of his character. Like if you want to say he's not Vegeta, then the wrong thing to say is that he may have an evil phase, because as we know, one of Vegeta's major arcs is that he had a midlife crisis where he's like, I gotta do something evil. I gotta be evil again. Like I gotta do it. It's like, yeah, that's because that's
I gotta
Vegeta's.
just like fire a key blast into the crowd.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, he's just evil because he's like having this freaking midlife crisis with having a wife and having kids. Like, oh, I gotta do something. I'm the prince of Planet Vegeta. I gotta do an evil thing and make a deal with this evil wizard and get power and beat Goku. And I haven't done that with my life.
Now like maybe what he meant and where I think Shadow can work is he can still be antagonistic towards Sonic and his friends specifically.
Right. Maybe
it
this
has
was
to still be in the service of the greater good. So,
well,
like, I don't know, maybe it was just like a misquote or something.
Like even if you think of something like Sonic Boom, and I'm not talking about the cartoon where he is just a cartoon villain. I'm talking about his presence in the game. He was not set up as like, well, I am mustache twirlingly bad and I have bad plans. It's like, no, I'm going to save the world in a way that Sonic's not going to, because Sonic's not as good as it as me. That's how you set up the relationship between these two characters, and to say like evil just seems a really weird way to phrase that, instead of just like, antagonistic. But even then, I don't think he tries to be antagonistic to Sonic. I don't think he cares, except when he's being competitive.
So
I don't know.
here's basically what he said. Ever since Sonic Adventure 2, we haven't really explored that evil Shadow presentation of the character. He's always been on a different kind of spectrum. But maybe in the future it'll be interesting to come back and revisit Shadow being not so nice. Maybe even as far as evil, as far as the other characters may see him.
Yeah,
Like I don't know. I think if Sonic's seeing you as evil, you're probably just being evil.
Sonic's willing to give you a lot of chances. That's again pointing back to Sonic Prime, which has a very good story. Shut up, internet, you're
Nah.
wrong.
You know what? We need to like get a review on the website and like anger a large portion of the fan base.
I mean, hey, if you need someone to anger a large portion of the fan base, I might know a guy.
Dread.
No, no,
Oh,
think
Shigs.
closer. Yeah, Shigs. He has such controversial opinions.
Okay. But anyway, so like, no, I don't want Evil Shadow back. I don't want anyone that like
Okay,
he can be antagonistic towards Sonic, but it has to be towards something good.
it has to be it has to be a believable decision from him. Like, I don't know. It's a weird way to phrase that, but also it is kind of worth noting that Izuka is very well media trained, which is to say he's very
Yeah.
good at giving non-answers.
He's better media trained than he used to be, I think.
Like, I was listening to a podcast recently discussing Nintendo's investor Q&As, and they kind of brought up the point that like they're really good at saying nothing, at saying
Hmm.
absolutely nothing. And Izuka's extremely good as well at saying absolutely nothing of value that hasn't already been, stated in the question itself. Hey, we know that you're releasing this game on this system. Are you having any plans to release this game on any
Eh,
other systems? Yes,
Well,
we
you
are
know.
releasing this game on this system. We look forward to it.
Well, no. So I just want to point out that we had a point of disagreement on his answer of Sonic Rumble. I thought he strongly indicated that it was going to come to other platforms, and
I don't
now it's
think he
getting
did.
a PC port.
Eh.
So
He said it might. He said it might. I don't think
you
that.
don't say might unless it's probably happening.
No.
But anyway,
So you're saying that Shadow's definitely going to be evil here?
probably. So speaking of evil, the Sonic Speak simulator has been visited 1 billion times. So I guess this is not going away anytime soon.
They're putting it in the darn presentations now. They certainly didn't do that 2 years ago.
I remember when this was first announced, I just thought, oh, I guess this is just gonna be like a quick little fleeting thing that's gonna be around for a bit and then it'll die because maybe I just didn't understand Roblox. I don't know, but no, this thing's like it's like a proper freaking business now. And it's
Apparently.
also like
I played Roblox several times and I still don't understand blow up Roblox.
well,
Roblox.
I played this and I had fun for like 10 minutes and then I got bored and then then I was done and now apparently it has like this really predatory monetization scheme.
Oh my god!
Like you
If you
can
came
read all
back to it,
about
you'd
on
be
our
like, "What the
website.
heck's going on?"
Yeah, it basically my understanding of the state of Roblox, both including this game and outside of this game, is that basically you're going to turn into all of the terrible monetization schemes of mobile games. Like you're just
Hmm.
going to turn into all of those miserable worst free to play. And it's even worse because it's not nearly as regulated a market as like the Google Play Store, which is very scary to say out loud of something being less regulated than the MFing Google Play Store.
Well, hopefully we'll get some government regulation clampdown on this, but until then, silver lining, Marine has made her first playable appearance in Sonic Speak Simulator.
That's
So,
very important to some people for some reason.
that's something.
Is it?
Like for me it is.
Why?
Depending on
I'm,
how
I'm
much you
happy
pay for her.
seeing Marine get acknowledged and be playable in some
Do
form,
do
in
you
some
need
official
do you
fashion.
need Business Daddy to tell you how to feel?
Yes, I do.
That's very
I also
sad.
need I also need Business Day to put more Sonic characters in things. And I'm happy that Marine is backing something somehow.
Marine's not the worst. Worse
Oh, I love Marine.
Oh, I can't even say her name. Styx. Where's Styx? We need Styx.
We need Six and Marine. They need to debut at the same time.
But we need Styx in an actual game. We don't need her in this crap mobile garbage.
Yeah, but she'll probably be in this crap mobile garbage first.
We need her to be in a real game so that we can get more of that particular voice actress doing that particular version of the character and making Sonic games legitimately funny.
So, the next big little piece of news is the UK is getting a new Sonic magazine from Egmont, whom
Is this
UK
news?
readers may know for having once been Egmont Fleetway, aka the publisher of the Fleetway Sonic the comic. And I'm kind of surprised that we're at this point where they're just like publishing Sonic magazines now.
Doesn't the
It
UK
looks
just do?
so
Wait, doesn't
basic. Those.
no,
Sorry,
no, no.
go ahead, though.
But this is what the UK does. Like they have these sort of like small run boutique magazines all the time for things. It's like, hey, we put a little toy or a little prize in it for kids, and like what you
That was
don't.
what Sonic the comic was for a decade.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is still the heritage of that still looms long. Like if I were 7, maybe this would be fascinating, but adult me is just like, no, I know exactly what's in this. It's not going to be anything of value, and I am not going to
Well,
actually care about this in the same way that I would not care about any Sonic book that appears in a Scholastic book fair.
But GX, it has an epic battle board game. Don't you love board games?
You love board game. It's not going to be a good one, but I also love the feeling of collecting them. I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can import this or coerce Dread to mail me something. I
Oh,
don't know.
we've got to coerce Dread into sending it to you. I am wondering, like, this also has a Sonic comic, and I'm wondering, do they have the rights to like publish something from IDW, or is this going to be something original?
It's hard to say. I think there was. It's not something that we reported, but there's been discussion on Twitter that like Fleetway at some point tried to get licenses to reprint some of those comics,
Oh man,
and basically Sega said no because it does not fit with the
no,
brand. Like, let's be real. No, of course it
no,
absolutely does not fit with the brand.
I don't care.
They do.
Come on.
If you were a brand manager at Sega, would you print those comics?
Yeah, I would print everything.
So you would get fired immediately for letting that back into the wild.
Apparently, yes. If it gets Fleetway back into circulation, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Like I figured the main roadblock was
let me
like
put it another
just-
way. If you were a brand manager who cared about retaining their job, would you print
then
that?
it's the thing I would do after I have employment secured elsewhere.
Yeah, Fleetway is a real effed up series, for better or for worse, I suppose, depending on your perspective.
Like
But
I know there is some like legendary stuff in it, and it does have like some stuff from some really good artists and writers. So
oh, for sure.
like
And it's also
like
from the same company that brought you Judge Dredd, and it feels
yeah.
like it.
I think it has doesn't it like have some of the same writers and artists
Sure
as
does.
Judge Dredd?
Sure does.
But man, that I need to see if that's true, because if that's true, then I am so sad.
Yeah, I didn't overemphasize it because I couldn't really find a good source, but
I'm sure this is just like little IDW short stories, like taken out of the
Well,
annuals
like
or
if it's
whatever.
IDW, then they would have had to have like I guess like licensed it from
yeah,
them or something,
you
right?
can license stuff from
Yeah, and it's
IDW.
they can license it, and it could
All
be
right.
like a
ID
short story that they don't have to worry about continuity with and that kind of thing.
IDW internationally licenses stuff all the time. It's one of the biggest differences between them and Archie. Archie never really got into the international licensing thing, but like
Yeah.
if you're in another country and you want access to the IDW stuff, you're probably going to have a local distributor that is localizing it or at least moving it in English or something to you.
So this is packed with tricky puzzles. You get to meet Shadow, Sonic's rival, and there's 3 awesome gifts.
Oh, I've never met Shadow before. What is he like? Is he a funny character? I like
Yeah,
funny
actually.
characters.
The
He's
Shadow,
very
he's
funny.
a dick.
He's just an
So,
anthropomorphic
moving
phallic
on
being.
to other things that we all want and cannot have so far. Though hopefully this will change because it's at least a game. There are still currently no plans for Sonic Advance re-releases. Izuka was asked point blank about this. Honestly, I think the simple fact that they've even answered the question um, probably bodes well that it's at least something that's like on their minds. But Azuka said we'd love to do it.
Yeah, he'll say he
Um,
loves to do anything as long as it's
uh,
actually
if
possible.
yeah, Sonic Advance. It's been one of those weird holes in Sonic for so long now. Like even when they were doing the Virtual Console stuff,
They were in
it
Japan.
only happened in Japan.
I can't remember if it got more than one of them, but it at least got the first one. I know that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does beg the question, what's stopping it? It could be, I don't know. There's a lot of things that it could be. It could be that they would have to deal with the publishing stuff. Like at this point, it's hard to say if they would really have to. Like, think about how long that THQ agreement would be, unless they signed an extremely, extremely poor agreement.
Yeah. Where
Like,
it's like in perpetuity and the rights transfer if another company buys a THQ name or
like,
something like that's the kind of thing you'd have to do at this point.
but at the same time, it's not like you can't twist Embracer Group's arm. They need the money. Like
Yeah.
they would take licensing for this if it's the issue, which again, we're not saying
Although,
it is.
like, the one thing I've always wondered about is, like, maybe Sega doesn't want to pay any licensing. Like,
They
maybe it's just not worth it if they have to do that.
they might not. Like the other half of this is it's not merely like, hey, we have not ported anything from the Sonic Advance. They have not ported anything from made by Dimps at all, except for that one virtual console release. Like nothing
Well,
from Dimps has
oh yeah.
escaped its original release.
Yeah.
So
I've never thought of it like that before. That's true.
but
Huh.
because you figure it's not just the Sonic Advance games, it's also Sonic Battle, Sonic Pinball Party, Sonic Rush, Sonic Rush Adventure, Sonic Colors mobile or portable version, and any of the 3DS versions of those games, including Sonic Generations for 3DS. Nothing
Yeah.
that Dimps has done is seeing re-release right that. So it does beg the question, like, could this be related to either expecting to need to involve Dimps, or Dimps holding some amount of sway in this circumstance, or like there I know at least in some Japanese developers there's a hesitance to like touch games that you have not been majorly involved with. I don't think
Hmm.
Sega's the type of company that would care about that, considering how much
Yeah.
they've just licensed out their games for other people to make. But I don't know. It's the weird thing of like, do they just think it doesn't have value, or is there something that is actively preventing it? And
At this point, the Sonic brand is so big that I really don't see why Sega wouldn't go all in on trying to start getting these games back out there. But I don't know.
but they're not. But the problem is they don't think of it in the same way that like a Capcom would think of it. Capcom's been extremely active in trying to get out their back catalog. Like you would have thought that anything with Marvel versus Capcom would just be gone forever. But no, they have brought it back in multiple forms, multiple times, including a very, very thorough form very recently. So
They
I'm
get
wondering
they guess
if
haven't done Legends. Oh, sorry, go on.
Dimps doesn't have some form of ownership over the game engine in some way.
Huh.
who's to say? Like they were able to release it once. That's all we know. We know that in one circumstance they were able to directly port that. Now, who knows? Maybe it
So,
could even just be, who knows? It could just be resources right now.
like,
Like,
it did take them over a decade to put generations on modern platforms, and when they finally did, it's with a whole other game attached. So it
yeah.
could just be that they have some long-term plans for this stuff.
Or it could
But
just,
here,
yeah. It could just be that they don't have a team lined up for a release like
yeah.
this. Like, you would need someone to either do the port work or do the emulation work, and they don't. I would say Sega may not have an in-house GBA emulator in the same way that a
Hmm.
lot of other companies would have put one
Well,
together.
that's what M2 is for.
It is what M2 is for. M2 is very good at that.
So here's what Izuka said specifically. There's currently no plans for the Saga Bank series to be remade or remastered, but we don't know what the future holds. And if we have the chance, if there's an opportunity for the Advanced series to also get the treatment of Origins, or whatever circumstances may pop up, we'd love to do it. Frankly, like that is probably the most encouraging answer we've ever gotten on this. So
I I think with those games need widescreen. Those games desperately
they do.
need widescreen. I
Like I would definitely just take emulation, but
yeah,
widescreen would also help.
like release they need some sort of I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you, "Hey, most of Dimp's games don't hold up very well."
I
But
love the Rush games, especially Rush
I
2.
also love the Rush games. They also do not hold up very well.
You shut up. Rush Adventure holds up amazingly.
But Rush Adventure definitely holds up better than probably any of their other games. I will give it that. But I
That
will
is the one
but
Dimps
I will
game I will
also say,
defend to the death.
yeah, right. Look. If you want me to sit here and tell you that Rush Adventure is the best Sonic game that they've made, yeah, it 100% is. Totally, no question, no
Yeah.
doubt in my mind. That said, like these games need to be out there in some form. They're big enough that they represent enough of this franchise's legacy to need to to need to have that sort of awareness, because they're not really like Sonic Team, perhaps because they did not work on them, don't really seem to be inclined to remember them whenever it comes round to like making
that
a Sonic Generation style game.
that is true with all of the portable games. Probably because they didn't make them.
Probably because they didn't make them, but also like I don't know, they need some degree of acknowledgement of this stuff.
Yeah.
I think like I I am not a perfect game preservationist, but I am enough of one that like this is a big enough swath of games that probably need to be somewhere.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Retro
So
Engine remake.
so who among us have watched the terminal montage about something about Shadow animation?
I actually did. I thought
Thank you.
it was all right.
I, as a fan of Terminal
I'm gonna look
Manager's
at
work.
this up, see if I have. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, I have
good.
seen this.
All right, so we've all seen excellent. So I'm a fan of his of Terminal Manager's work. Like I
Gosh.
love the weird humor and the hyperactive style and all that stuff. This definitely feels toned down compared to some of those other things. Like I think if this was a non Sega approved thing, like Maria would have just gotten shot at some point. But
Probably.
instead, the gun soldiers just got ejected into space.
Well, they got injected
And
into space.
they all come out with the keyboards from Typing of the Dead. It's
Yeah.
just funny homage.
I I enjoyed my time with it. I would probably, and then I like watched one other video and was like, yeah, I've had enough of this. It is a very of a type of internet humor that is like, yeah, I can deal with this once, and then I don't need more of it. I
I
get the
usually
idea.
will watch like maybe a couple every now and then, and that'll be it. But like because it really is that kind of humor. But
Yeah.
what I just find interesting is that it really does kind of feel like Sega has really shifted in terms of like who they're teaming up with these
They
days, like
they
in the
have
community.
embraced the fan creator in a way that they probably would not, in the way that they started to, like,
Well,
let's
that's
say
something Sega
5 to
does
10
well
years
that
ago.
Nintendo does
But
not. Is
yeah.
they they're strong with their fans.
Like
Well,
I know that
hmm,
back in like 2019 they did this thing with Aaron from
Grumper?
Game Grumps
Oh,
and
sorry. Yeah.
the completionist, which unfortunately, well, the live one definitely didn't age well, and the
Mm.
former,
You don't say.
every Sonic fan of a certain age absolutely hates the Game Grumps because I guess they're bad at playing Sonic games and they complain about I don't know, but like I don't like compared to Game Grumps, like this does at least seem like a more fitting partnership
Sure.
and like I'm hoping Sega keeps this up with other creators. Like I don't know, maybe brings in Antu. Like it's only a matter of time until they do something with Game Cake. They already sent him to Japan apparently to
Yeah,
play Sonic Rumble.
I can't say that all of this is super appealing to me in broad strokes, but if it works for them, sure. Like this is
Yeah.
what a lot of companies are doing these days.
uh,
But like, hey, we're not necessarily paying a content creator to calculate exactly what happens when the giant vampire lady steps on you. Like we're at least not there yet, but we're
I
always
get the feeling
dangerously
that
close to that.
I don't think we're dangerously close to that. They do seem that Sega does seem to put up certain content limits. Like I know there was that one video from that guy who like usually is very crude, who did that Fang video, and like that was very toned down for them.
It was something. Uh,
Oh yeah, if you didn't like that.
no, not really.
Shakes, do you have any thoughts?
It's cute. Yeah, and it is toned down. I mean, if you've seen their like Lion King one,
But it
it's
was
a little bit more,
but it's still
but it's not
very
too.
goofy. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's still very very goofy. And it was a fun little thing. It's not something I'm gonna watch twice, but it was cute. It
Yeah.
was fun.
All right. So, GX, you care about 2 Point, right?
I probably care more than anyone else here.
Because Sonic is coming to 2 Point Museum as a pre-order bonus.
Yeah, I mean I care in that it's very stupid. Uh as you know, I have a type in Sonic News, and this is my type. My type is, what are they doing on the stupid front? And the stupid front this time is, hey, they've 2 Point Museum is going to launch with some Sonic DLC. You can dress your people up as Sonic characters and set up like a Sonic gift stand, and then also get like, hey, get some I don't know, other cosmetics for your exhibits if you want.
Hmm.
Primarily, anytime in the back of my mind, even though I'm not doing almost every Sonic right this second, everything's always thinking about, okay, like, how would I stream this if I had to? And yeah, I generally like its sense of humor. I think as like a straight up simulator, it's not like super intense or super interesting on the mechanical front, but it tries to make up for that with its theming and weirdness. The museum decision with them being a British developer makes me very uncomfortable.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think I don't have any issue with the British developers making a museum game because
Well, let's put it this
I
way.
understand why, but I just think that's a bit of a stretch.
It depends on what they show in it, because it could go very poorly. Uh,
Well, they're probably gonna like show the those Greek statues that Britain stole from the Greeks, and
Oh,
probably
it's
some
like they're so
artist.
they've shown a lot of dinosaur stuff. They've shown a lot of like caveman stuff.
Okay.
It's the let's. I'm gonna be very worried because British popular culture media, famously across video games, have had a very rough time attempting to portray indigenous groups.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna get into how they've also stolen lots of stuff from like from like various African cultures, and
That is also true.
that they are still refusing to give back.
To I believe, I forget if it was John Oliver or Andy Zaltzman, but it was one of those two in a podcast where they would effectively describe the British Museum as an active crime scene. So
Well, Jen Oliver's definitely gone into that like in his
yeah,
show as well.
yeah.
Um,
So
but like, yeah, like
Yeah.
hopefully they'll be sensitive to those particular things.
one hopes. I just don't have a lot of faith, but like, yeah, it's. I'm looking forward to at least seeing this. I haven't played much of the other two games beyond stuff I've done on stream, but I didn't hate what I've played of them. And I like games about building a space, and that seems to be what this is primarily about.
Hmm. The main thing that kind of keeps me away from those kinds of games is that I'm pretty sure they're usually like mouse and keyboard
Oh
games, and
yeah, there.
I only game on the Steam Deck or with a controller on a PC.
They
That
do
is it.
support controllers. It's just that you're probably still gonna want to be a mouse and keyboard for something like that.
Yeah, I'm good then.
Like a lot, like they
Um,
have console ports.
Yeah.
hmm.
Those
So
kind of things, just
uh,
simulator type things, just really don't excite me in any way.
I
I will at least enjoy it to a point. Like I know that one game I loved when I was a kid was Dinosaur Tycoon.
I aren't isn't that the same developers as the Tycoon games, or is it no? The same developer as it was a different hospital game. I don't know.
I seem to remember the Dino Tycoon people did not actually make the other Tycoon games, which
Okay, fair enough.
surprised me.
Fair enough. I'm not gonna assert things that I don't know well enough.
But like I remember looking that up some years ago because I wanted to play it on my home computer. But so moving on to our final general news item, and uh, so John Gioli of Crush 40 is assisting the headline is headlining the American Heart Foundation's Crush 40 Crushes 40K community fundraiser, which is a month-long event that they have been doing that will end on September 29th, World Heart Day. Um, and a whole bunch of streamers are participating, including Turbojet, Ultima Shadow X, and Xiaomix. And
Hmm.
I think us, one of us, at least.
I don't. Dredd mentioned something. I forget what he mentioned. I don't
Ex-
remember anything about this.
yeah, we need to like sort this out because
This was during Yakuza time.
they reached out to us about participating, and the 29th is the same day as my Sonic hacking contest stream, and like technically I could probably make room for this in a different part of the day. So like I don't know, we need to talk, but this is something that we'll probably be participating in as well. Um, but honestly, that's the primary reason why I'm bringing this up. There's like apparently different community fundraiser goals. $100 to get you a Sonic the Hedgehog Sonic the Hedgehog blog shout out. 250 will get you a fundraiser entry. Ooh, for a Sonic and Shadow Generations limited edition, and a $500 level will get you a chance at a FaceTime call with John Gioli.
Yeah,
But
this is not the first Crush 40 related charity thing that they've done. They actually released. I don't know if you remember this. I forgot about this until I started going through my music collection and found the track that I have on iTunes. They released a track called "Song of Hope,"
Ah.
which I
Oh
believe
yes, I remember that.
I can't remember if they donated portions. It was definitely dedicated to the Japanese earthquake and tsunami from 2011.
Oh wow, that was a while ago.
But
Yeah, I definitely remember that.
yeah. So yeah. So they're not strangers to some degree of charity work. So that's neat.
Cool. So, moving on to mobile news,
I
which
guess you have to. I guess you have to open your heart.
open your heart, it'll be okay. I don't remember the lyrics at all.
For the American Heart Foundation. Get it? Actually, technically, I guess that's not a
Teaming
Crush
up with
40
Brett
song.
the
I don't know.
Hitman Hart and Jim Danville Nightyard. Yeah.
Man, I
Tell
don't
me
even
Pop
remember
Mobile
any of the
News.
lyrics. Yeah, so mobile news. So the Sonic mobile front has been very busy lately. Like on Sonic Forces / Sonic Dash, we have gotten three characters and three characters like announced earlier this month. Another three characters announced during Sonic Central. And the coolest one, definitely Detective Vector, who is just like a black and white Vector in a
He
trench
should be
coat.
called Inspector Vector. Come on.
Vector
The
the
name's
Detector.
right there.
Oh, that would have been funnier, but no, they didn't. But like, it's kind of weird that like, okay, we've got Valhalla Surge, Pyromancer Blaze, Oni Mephiles, and Warrior Shadow. Like, they're really just kind of just making a Sonic fantasy RPG lineup at this point.
I mean,
Like,
I don't know. We're firmly in whale territory, where it's
yes,
like we need everything that they're doing to hit maximum returns. And I personally, I'm at the point where I was discussing mobile games in like another chat server, and basically it came down to making the joke as like, yeah, they basically released the same game they basically released the same game like 3 times. And then I
Hmm.
sheepishly came in and corrected. I was like, actually, it's like the same game 4 times. Because, but yeah, there's a degree which I look at this and think, why isn't Sonic Dash and Sonic Rival Speed Battle just the same game anymore?
Well,
That should just be.
they are fundamentally different games. One is an endless runner, single player only, and the other is a
No,
multiplayer racing
they
game.
feel
And
like two modes of the same game. They don't
well,
feel like two
they
games.
play differently and they feel different, at least to me.
Uh,
Like I prefer like how Sonic Dash feels, but I do prefer like Sonic Forces for its different like character attacks and stuff, which can have unique animations and models. Um, but so like I don't know, like I admit though these character variants are they're really stretching it.
yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
the issue of like, well, you're putting them in one game and then you wait a week and then you put them in the other game, and it's like, well, now I have to. Well, I'm not playing both in regardless, but
I'm not playing both at
but
the
it
moment.
No.
but it feels, I don't know, it's not feeling good to me.
I feel fine playing Sonic Forces mobile. Like I've been open about that before. Where like, hey, I've kind of just sort of incorporated it into other things that I do, and so like it's not too hard for me.
Playing it 12 times.
Um, but
But hey,
like
Sonic Dream Team, that's a bigger thing.
well, yeah, but before that, one other interesting thing that we're getting is that
We're
Team
tur-
Sonic Racing is really getting into um, these like alternate skin characters now. So like
now to
so
be
like that,
clear, they're the
yeah.
same alternate skin as have previously been introduced in other Sonic games,
It's
such as
based on
Dash and
that, but
Force.
these are actually different assets for a game with no microtransactions. which I find
Sure.
fascinating because like how we were all perplexed, like how a couple of months ago, out of nowhere, Rockstar Rouge is available, and they like completely update the whole game.
My current
And
theory is that Sega or that Apple is happy with Dream Team and is actually willing to give them money now for further updates.
that could be it. And so like now we're getting DJ Vector and we're getting Popstar Amy. So I guess we're going to be getting all like the alternate character skins from the other games in this and unique vehicles. So
Yeah.
like in vehicles. So like I don't know. Like
Because you
I
figure, I
find
mean,
it fascinating.
this all like the only way that this makes sense is if it's running on Apple money because like
Yeah.
Sega wouldn't invest in a game that is going to not make them profit. So I can only imagine like Apple saying, "We want updates to this game. Can you make us updates? We will give you this amount for this many updates." And like that's the only business sense that makes sense to me.
One thing I do wonder about is like maybe maybe like an exclusivity deal was ending and Apple like re-upped on it.
Maybe.
But regardless. But yeah, so to get into the main thing I want to talk about in this section, Sonic Dream Team got an update this month, and it is like my favorite update because it has kind of made the game sort of addicting again.
Oh, that
um,
sounds good. Tell me how it's made it addicting.
so like okay,
As we
so
know, you do not have an addictive personality.
uh, um so Dream Team has had these things called Tails challenges for a while, which I only ever really kind of barely touched on before. It's like just like, hey, do this in a level, and you will within this Tails challenge menu, and you will like get this reward or something. And the rewards were just all trophies and stuff. So I guess didn't care. But now what they've done is they have made the challenges daily, and they have made it so that every single day they release a unique stage. So that will like be built off like pre-existing gimmicks and
Hmm.
like this sort of like these very specific assets that can be reused and reorganized, but you are playing effectively a brand new level design, and these levels have like always been very fun and really fun to master.
Hmm.
um and really do some cool things with the game mechanics that they did not do in the main game. And so like I've just felt compelled to go in almost every day to to play these challenges and to especially play the unique level and master it. And like like and thankfully like these levels are short, so it never takes me very long. Like like it'll maybe take me, I don't know, 20 30 minutes. Like I can just like do that on a break or something. um and but uh but like in addition to that, when you play the Tails challenges, you're now working towards things that like actually matter. So they have also added 25 songs from other Sonic games into this update, which are unlocked
Ooh.
by through experience points that you earn in the Tails challenges.
Okay, are they good Sonic songs to me or are they good Sonic songs to you? Understanding that
Well,
there's very
like
little overlap between those two.
I know Open Your Heart is up there,
Okay, so
but
you.
but like the very first one was this cool little techno cyberspace song from Frontiers, and the next
Maybe
one
me. I have mixed feelings about the Frontier soundtrack.
is is from Team Sonic Racing.
Okay, Team
The next
Sonic Racing has a very good soundtrack.
um so like like those are the two those are the three that I am most aware of. But like
Okay.
there's a total of 25, and you can like select them to listen to in any stage. And on top of that, in addition to that, they have also added I think 16 brand new powers which you can equip at the start of a stage, which can significantly affect your character's gameplay and
Ooh.
abilities.
And
Like,
can you use this in the main story?
you can, yes.
Ooh, I'm okay. This might be my excuse to go back.
Um,
I like
but
modifiers.
like and it always depends on the situation. So like there is this one combo that's pretty good where you can give your character 100 rings at start, and then you can like make their speed dependent on how many rings they have,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then you can like give them a special move like for Knuckles or Rouge you can give them a boost, a climbing boost. And so, like, you can really just kind of soar through these levels with the right moves. And then there's another one where it's like, okay, I need to time trial. So, like, I need to be able to like just tank some obstacles. And so you can pick 100 rings, shield, and then pick this thing called tough, where you will lose 10 rings every time you get hit. And so, like, you can have a total of like I don't know, like 11 hits before you like
Okay,
die.
here's my pitch for a modifier, and I think it's going to be the best modifier that they could possibly offer.
Yeah.
A way to basically spawn a skateboard under your character on demand. It's not especially useful, but it's real fun and stupid.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the most useful moves are locked towards the back of of the unlocked powers, and you do need to purchase them with blue coins that you can either collect in the stages or earn by leveling up in Tails challenges. And so it's going to take me a little while to actually unlock all this stuff. Um, but like regardless, this has completely renewed my interest in the game. Is given it some depth that it desperately needed. And so like this is all on top of the fact that I now have daily new levels to play. And on that count I am wondering like how they did that, because these do not feel procedurally generated, they feel designed, they
They
feel like a human being placed these things together.
I would tell you you'll probably run into a thing where it repeats eventually. Like
Oh,
I
I'm
can
sure. I was expecting that to happen by now. I'm
but yeah,
hoping like I'm hoping it does, because like my biggest criticism is that there's no way to replay these levels.
yeah, Mario Kart Tour for mobile did something similar where it's just like yeah, you have the stage design, but now it's like backwards, but now we have included a whole bunch of extra like ramps and stuff and made it a whole new thing. And
Right.
yeah, it's not it depending on how your tool set works out. It's probably wouldn't
Yeah.
be that hard to put together a level. I think the tougher part would be, making sure that it's a good level.
What I find most fascinating is that they have introduced the new gimmick on occasion. Like there, like one of the early stages was a Tails Cream stage where you're scored by how much you keep yourself off of the ground.
Okay.
And so like you had to like maximize your time in the air.
Okay.
And so this was one that took me the longest to master.
Sounds like they got some ideas for it. Like I'm
Yeah.
impressed. Like when I first went into that game, like you were pretty hot on it. I was kind of lukewarm on it, but sounds like they've actually built something out a little bit more interesting.
And in addition to in addition to all that, there's also now they have like a score attack level where you have to like hit a certain number of enemies and go through a certain number of targets in order to run up in order to run up a score. It still is not the kind of score attack Sonic Adventure 2 style score attack I was looking for, but it is still quite fun. Especially trying to get an S rank on it. And the final tail stage is usually just collect 6 dream shards or something. Yeah, like Tails challenge has gone from that thing that I guess kind of ignored to something that is making me come back to the game every day. And of course, in addition to that, we also have another update that has been announced that will introduce Shadow, which I've been wanting more characters in this since like last year.
Yeah, but does he play differently?
Oh, I expect him to play just like Sonic and
Well, then
Amy.
what's the then what's the point?
He's Shadow.
But if he doesn't play differently, then what's the point? Just sounds like he's a skin. It sounds like you're getting some cosmetics.
Some free cosmetics.
You know, Shadow is in other games. He has been in other games before.
Yes, but this is a really good game.
Yeah, but he's been in, I will say, games that have been decent before or good.
Chigs, you've been
So what's
quiet. Do you have any
Shadow's
like?
dream? Like basically just constant vengeance everywhere.
I think he just I think he just dreams of like. Do you remember? So you remember Psychonauts, and do you remember the mind of Sasha 9? I think that's just
Uh,
Shadow's head. The
so
featureless
what?
cube.
Oh, Sasha. Whenever I keep thinking Sasha is the disco dancing lady. No, it's the guy. Yeah.
That's Shadows is just the featureless cube that will occasionally like go mad if you overload it.
Shadow's mind is a dark void of nothingness.
Then he takes a long drag on a cigarette.
So Shix, you've been quiet. Do you have like any thoughts on this, or?
Not really, except I'm trying to dig up a Bluetooth controller to try it out myself.
You still got a Apple Arcade sub?
Oh,
Yep.
Okay.
Guys, I keep forgetting I have an Apple Arcade sub.
I just forgot about mine and that got a renewal notice today. So
well, I guess you have a reason to try it out.
yeah, I'll find an excuse to stream it.
So and you can find a lot of footage from this on our YouTube, by the way.
Yep.
Including a couple level runs I'm fairly proud of that. Okay, so moving on to the next, I guess, final big discussion topic. Yesterday's
the final.
Sonic.
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah,
Sonic
let's zip through
Central.
this.
So they announced a Chow short series.
Yeah.
Which is apparently coming later this year.
I mean the Chow in Space short was very cute. I went back to it recently and got to reintroduce it to a couple of people who had missed it before, and it was real neat. I am all in favor of having more of these animation things, preferably ones that are, lighthearted instead of
what I find
recent
interesting
ones.
is that we're getting one of these so soon after the big Sonic X Shadow Generations one. Like, and it's an 8-episode series.
Yeah, I suspect these probably won't have the same production value as the Shadow one.
Oh, I expect it to be closer to like the Chow Christmas special.
Yeah,
than that.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, like, I don't think we've ever actually gotten something these things so close together before. So the general premise is Sonic just visits the Chow Garden throughout the year, and I don't know, that sounds cute.
Yeah. Do you think they have a lot of plans going forward for like Tails Tube?
I think they do.
I
does seem like they've been making them more frequently lately.
Okay. I'm kind of been pretty lukewarm on everything past the first couple. I feel like they had a pretty good early few, and then it felt like everything else they've done has been so thoroughly tied to a specific game in a way that is detrimental to the actual viewing experience.
Hmm.
Uh,
Well, I don't know. Hope,
but I'm
like
hopeful for
imagine
Chow
the next
Tales.
I imagine the next one's going to be all about the Shadow.
Look, if you wanted to find a way to make me care about Chow, putting them in a cartoon is going to be it.
Shigs, any thoughts?
Not really. I mean, like you said, it looks like something that's going to be cute, and I doubt that we'll go into any details on the Chow or anything, or
Oh no, I'm not expecting that.
give
I'm just
names.
But I bet
I'm
you'll
just
have opinions on more Sonic Lego.
I
Sure
got
thing.
some.
I love me some Sonic Lego.
Tell me about the Sonic Lego.
Well, we got some more playsets coming out. Got a Super Sonic and Super Shadow versus Lego Bio Lizard.
No
That looks
super.
like
No,
a
no, 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 no. Was there actual Super Sonic? I don't
That
remember
it's on
seeing
the
a Super.
pack. It was on the packaging.
It was okay. I'll take your word for
Yeah,
it.
okay. It's on
like
the packaging detail, but it wasn't shown in the game itself.
Actually, you know what?
I mean, on the box itself.
I don't think I actually saw the boxes for these. I should
well,
go
that's
look that up.
because
Well, we only
we
seen the one. I don't think
we
we've seen the
posted
other
it on our
two.
Twitter. We got press assets like sometime after Sonic
Okay.
Central.
Gotcha.
Bio Lizard's the only one that has any picture of it at all.
Okay, so
The
have they
the other two are like
are they formally
Sonic.
are they formally announced, or are we still waiting for an actual announcement of them?
The
Well, I
Bio
know
Lizard's the only one that's been formally announced, as far as I know.
the Sonic Campfire thing was in the Sonic Central. Like, we saw Sonic at a campfire.
Okay,
So
but
we know
not like a full thing.
Sonic Campfire Showdown is coming. And they also revealed something that has Sonic fighting some gun robots, which we also saw in the short. But like I know I've been talking about there's like a small chance I might get a Lego set because I hate Lego because Lego looks
Really?
ugly. But like the Bio Lizard one is probably the one that's finally going to make me get something because for one, like how much Bio Lizard merch have we gotten?
Is that your criteria? Is it just has to be merch that doesn't normally get made?
No, it's also the simple fact that I think it looks cool. Like
I'm kind of honestly, I'm kind of
the Lego
disappointed
Bio
in
Lizard
it.
looks cool to me. What'd you say?
I'm honestly kind of disappointed in it. I was hoping, like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that the Lego Sonic sets have been bangers. I think they've kind of skewed younger than I would have liked them to in terms of their complexity. But even this one, like, this one seems a little bit too simple for me. Like, I don't know. I would probably still get it if I have the money and occupation to do so, but I'm not in love with it. I am very curious about actually getting to see Metal Sonic versus Cyclone because my hope is that we're talking about the Tails Mech Walker. That's what I want.
Yeah. So
Weird
the
that we got a
Cyclone.
Knuckles mech before Tails.
So the Cyclone is the Tails mech, right?
I mean, we haven't seen any stuff on it, but that's the name of it, sure.
Okay, because I always just called that the Tornado
As
too.
well as a new minifig that matters, Metal Sonic.
Oh, you think it's gonna be a minifig? I actually kind of assumed that was going to be like something made out of Lego.
I'd be shocked if they had like a buildable Metal Sonic because Metal Sonic's proportions are the same as the normal characters. Like it would feel weird to
True.
me that they would suddenly make a brick built one because they'd have to make it really freaking small.
Yeah, true. Unless it's like I don't know, Mecha Sonic. But regardless, like at the very least, I think I'm finally gonna get
From
Bio
what I've
Lizard.
seen of from what I've seen of the prices of these toys are fairly cheap.
They're
Yeah,
cheap for
I think the
Lego.
Bio Lizard is like $20 if I
Yeah.
remember correctly in the listing.
As opposed to whenever I go out to buy the animal. No, actually, no. The Animal Crossing sets are very reasonably priced as well. Maybe the Mario. The Mario was a little bit on the pricier side.
So, moving on to other merch, there's only one thing I really care about here because it is just so.
You need to have your characters. Arbitrary of context. You need to have something that represents something that might represent something.
Oh no, because we've gotten plenty of Shadow toys, but this one has Shadow with the wings.
Ugh.
A 6-inch customizable Shadow figure from Jakks Pacific. Like, it's not like this little stone stand too. Like, as far as like Jakks Pacific goes, I think this thing actually looks pretty cool, and because it's Shaq specific, it should also be fairly affordable.
Hopefully more affordable than a lot of the other ones, but
Well, yeah,
also
it should
it
be
is.
around 50. I'm sorry, I was going to say there is another figure like that out right now, and that's a Knuckles one, and you can get that at Target, and that's $50. So I imagine it's going to be around that price range.
But they're not just like figures. They are made in the same way that they make action figures, which is to say they have lots of points of articulation and everything.
that just makes it cooler to me.
No, I understand that.
Like
I'm
I want
just
this
saying.
thing way more than the other merch they revealed with Shadow, which is the first 4 figure statue, which I'm sure is going to be ridiculously expensive.
That's fine. I'll have to return the Sonic and Shadow standing on a Dreamcast. Then I figured you didn't want it, so.
No, I want that.
No,
That's
no.
actually cool.
Like I don't want to insult you with this thing that I got. That's directly. I'll get you something.
And I guarantee that this will be like 3 times the price of that much better statue, which is better because it has a Dreamcast in it. Damn it! And also, like, they also showed a Shadow helmet, which I saw in person, and I didn't think they were actually going to sell it at the Shadow Bike thing.
If you want to be the biggest nerd on a motorcycle,
they said that if you wear that helmet, you're going to be cool.
They also lie to you often.
And finally, a Shadow's getting a Palverse Pele, whatever the hell that is. It's a little action figure thing. I don't know. I don't care.
It looks like it's like a, hey, what if this character was standing on a pallet and we had like a paint effect on it? It doesn't look bad. But yeah, it is what it is.
So GX, I know you don't want any of the Shadow stuff. So
Not really, no.
I'm just gonna ask Shigs. Does any of this merch interest you at all?
Not really. I'm not like I said before. I'm not the biggest Shadow fan.
You not be a big Shadow fan? I thought you were like me.
Nobody's like you.
A big Shadow fan.
Nobody is.
All right. So moving on to the thing that confused us all on our Sonic Central React stream.
Yeah.
The Sonic is getting a Topgolf tie-in. And so I figure the main reason to bring this up
led us all to understand that, oh, we have one of these near us. All of us do.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, this is a thing.
This is a thing. What the hell is this?
Didn't know because
we all have one.
And we just didn't know because none of us golf.
This
is Sonic is just getting weirder and weirder tie-ins as we go on. It's like this must be what it's like to just go completely mainstream in the 2020s.
Here's what I want out of the tie-in. So we've got Majima's pirate adventure coming up. What you do, like in every Yakuza game, you have a Darts Live board. Put the Sonic Darts Live event into the Darts Live board in Yakuza. That's what you do. You go hard into Sega's real darling brand, which is Darts Live, of course. Who cares about this video game crap? We're talking about darts here. Professional grade darts.
So I know we were all confused on this on stream, and like apparently what this is
I am the only one who's not confused here. I had to explain what this was to everyone else.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I guess we'll explain to the audience then.
Do you want me to explain to the audience?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So there is a form of, we'll call it virtual golf. I believe the terminology is virtual golf, where what you do is it's an arcade-like experience where you stand with an actual golf ball in an actual golf club, and you basically swing to hit the ball, and the ball hits a screen with a projector.
Oh, this isn't what this actually is.
Oh, this is different?
This is different, yes.
Okay, go for it then.
Are you
Maybe
sure?
I misunderstood.
Okay. So, what this actually is, that you are on an actual putting green, and
Okay.
you hit an actual ball, and Sonic and his friends participate in real world golfing play. Like Sonic is the ball in this situation, and the ball has sensors, and so you play the game by hitting the ball onto like an actual golf course.
Okay, because they do
Now,
have putting greens in some of the ones. It's just like very elaborate putting greens, but I also know they have the virtual golf as well.
yeah, that was like that has like its own name. It's like a putting suite or something.
Gotcha.
But so this is an augmented experience that will start in November, and the Sonic gameplay will run according to each Topgolf's participants' shot on the green. The game uses Topgolf's ball tracing technology to determine how Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy navigate stages such as Green Hill and Sky Sanctuary as they collect rings, hit springs, and destroy badniks.
Okay.
Now, like, I don't know how like this actually displays. I don't know if there's like gonna be a little screen next to you
Me
or
either, because they showed some real fantasy
Yeah.
ass like displays for this stuff. It's like, well, you can't actually create this in real life. This
So
defies
yeah,
physics.
because that's why I thought it was hitting that screen, and then the screen goes and does the
Yeah,
thing. Because
it
yeah,
that makes more sense
because
in
that is
my
an actual
mind.
thing. But no, this is like you're playing real golf, and I'm like my initial idea was I can like go to one of these and record a screen or something, probably, so long as it's not too expensive, because I don't know what the cost of this is. But now it's like, oh, I'm actually golfing. I don't even know what I would do here. Never mind the cost. So I don't know. We're probably not covering this.
I don't know. I might try.
Oh,
I can. Well,
well,
There's one
assuming
not
I
too
have
far
the
from me.
money
I
to
might
do
be able to
so.
try.
As soon as,
I
yeah.
mean, I don't know. I guess it's something to look into. It's starting in November.
You know me. I'm in it for something incredibly stupid.
All right.
It,
So,
like this is the kind of thing where I'm looking at and hearing a trend that I was sort of keenly aware of in other discussions is the degree to which they were willing to just flat out say, yeah, these are activations. We have so many Sonic activations and brand extras. It's like, no, you don't say that in the front facing marketing talk. You use that in the back where it's everything soulless to begin with. You don't present that front facing. Like, what are we doing? And it just feels like everything with their special event partnerships is just getting more and more unhinged.
yeah,
Like, what are
yeah.
we doing with top? Why are we doing Top Golf? What? Why is this? Who is
I,
asking for this, and who does this attract?
No,
I guess there's
uh,
just like general audiences
it's
who may
still like
like
Sonic
Sonic
is
now
now.
and play
He's
golf.
popular enough to be licensed to just about anything.
But he was
And
licensed to
you know
just about
what?
anything before he was super popular.
And you know what? That makes for a perfect transition to the biggest licensing Sonic and Sega have ever done,
Okay,
which
yeah, I can't
is
argue with that.
Yep.
a DC crossover, a DC Sonic crossover, which like
This is so cool.
this is like the embodiment of the meme of that Sonic fan who of the Domino meme of the Sonic fan asking like about Sonic meeting the Joker in 2019, hitting that domino, and now we're getting a 5-issue mini-series and 2-year tie-in between Sonic and DC Comics.
Yeah.
With merchandise of toys and clothing and other
So,
collectibles
so
coming.
like this all started with this was kind of basically hinted at, announced with a like this little animation of Batman's shadow in I guess
Yeah, it was like
Gotham
I don't know.
City.
Because it
I,
was
it
yeah,
was
because
it was Batman Day. It's one of those
Batman Day
stupid
that day.
corporate
Yeah.
holidays. It's like we're celebrating a brand today.
And I'm guessing in this context, Maria is Batman's parents.
Both of them. It's Maria and then Maria with a mustache.
And so I guess this version of Maria must wear pearls that have
Yeah.
to be torn off her neck by gun soldiers. Um, all right, so like
Suddenly, no, Shadow is suddenly very anti-military in Gotham City. He
So
I don't know. Shadow fights the cops while Batman fights the criminals.
this is going to be a 2-year-long partnership running through the end of 2026. It's technically starting off right now with a Shadow shirt, a Shadow Batman shirt where he's called the Chaos Controller.
Yeah, there's like stuff at Target, right?
Yeah, from Target. Like
There's already
those
one available
that
at
just
Target, I guess, online.
Oh, it's good that
yeah.
they
It's
got out
nuts.
ahead of this, because that would have been really freaking weird if we just saw this Target merchandise pop up without any context whatsoever, where it's just like, oh, Shadow's dressed as Bat. What the heck is going on here?
So like the main thrust of this is going to start in March of 2025 with a 5-issue monthly miniseries written by Ian Flynn, of
Yeah.
course.
Eh.
Where Sonic and friends are going to meet the Justice League to fight a new threat to save both of their worlds. I don't know why they're dressing up like Justice League characters.
Or something.
Well, yeah, anytime you help someone, you have to dress up like them. That's why, like, I need to go out clothes shopping anytime that I help someone move, so that they and I can be dressed identically.
Well,
Don't you
that
do
is good
this?
to know.
Don't you do this? Isn't this a normal thing?
Yeah, it is actually.
What they don't explain, though, in that description is that all of the Justice League characters will now be dressed as their personas.
Oh God. Like dressed as Sonic characters or
Yeah.
dressed as their own personas?
Batman is now in this big, you know, the Japanese Sonic mascot suit. It's like that,
Yeah.
but with the open face, so that you could see the person's face in it, and you just have
Okay.
Bruce Wayne in that.
So the men aren't all naked aside from their shirts and shoes and gloves then.
Well, Superman is, but nobody's gonna call him on it.
But anyway, so like for whatever reason they have revealed this with like all of the Sonic characters dressed as DC characters. So as we said before, Shadow is Batman, Sonic is the Flash, Knuckles is Superman, Amy is Wonder Woman, Tails is Cyborg, which when I was speculating about that, I don't know how I didn't realize that was gonna be what they should do. And Silver is Green Lantern.
I mean, I don't. I mean, my reason why I wouldn't speculate on that is because my reference for the Justice League is and generally has been the animated one, which
Oh yeah, same here.
which hasn't really had Cyborg in it in the same way, because Cyborg's been the Teen Titans character.
But so like, in addition to the comic book, we're going to be getting more apparel. We're going to be getting toys. We're going to be getting collectibles and much more. I'm just going to assume there's just going to be some game tie-ins here, at least on the mobile side, and
Maybe.
all that is mostly going to be hitting late 2025.
Yeah. So yeah, it's. I don't know.
So where do we?
Yeah.
Go on.
I'd say the most interesting thing to me is going to be the comics. I'm always very wary of crossover stuff in non-unified universe comics.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be all right. Like IDW, I think people like that Batman and Ninja Turtles one.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. That. Although technically they are in the same universe in that.
Sure, but what I'm saying is, like, I'm always wary because there's always a lot of ways that it could be very superficial. I think I generally trust Ian, but I don't fully trust him.
Ian Flynn, the first crossover he did was really good. The second one got overstuffed. Although I enjoyed it, but I get why people don't, because it just has way too much in it.
I understand the criticisms that people have. But also, they are wrong. That crossover is amazing. It's the dumbest freaking thing ever. It's freaking stupid. What are we even doing here? Why do we have Sticks in here going and training a Gormagala so that we can take it and fight the what's the guys from Mega Man X? Vile? No, not Vile.
But Ian Flynn is
yeah.
very good at character writing, and
Eh,
like that's the thing that that you really need to be able to be good at for a good crossover.
you
So
do,
I'm
you do, but also this is I I guess one of the problems that I have is that you have a set of superheroes and then you have another set of superheroes that have similar personalities.
hmm.
And not quite. I don't know. Like I said, I I generally trust him, but I don't completely trust him.
Shigs, what are your thoughts?
It looks interesting. I mean, hey, we're getting some cool, merch and T-shirts out of it. We've had DC crossovers before with like Godzilla and Kong, and that was pretty good. Although the comic book did read like an episode of the Super Friends. I imagine this will probably be the kind of the same.
That's my
Looks a little
concern.
on the
It could
over the top.
it could the problem is it could just very easily devolve into something trivial rather than like no, we're going to have interesting dynamics between these characters. That's what you would want. You would want these characters to not be like, "Oh, we're good friends. We're going to solve the problem." You want them to actually have, real conflict and real, you know,
Well, you
feelings. It
know what? They should probably team up Shadow with Sonic with Batman then.
would be funny. I mean, y- if you think about it, like don't isn't like, hey, Superman and Batman are the only two that ever actually fully trust each other.
Yeah.
To then associate like Batman with Shadow and then to maybe equate that to Knuckles in some meaningful way.
Yeah, see, that's why I thought that Superman would be Sonic, but I mean, I guess Flash works too.
I mean, Bugs Bunny was Sonic, or I'm sorry, Bugs Bunny was Superman in like the ways that they have attempted to cross over DC with Looney Tunes. So it make
I wonder
I
if
don't know.
they could get a Looney Tunes Sonic crossover.
That would be dumb. It would probably be very bad, but you could have it.
But so like how like this is gonna last for 2 years. How far are we expecting this to go?
Uh, Mostly superficially, and then there will be a comic.
No, I mean, well, we're getting the comic pretty early on in this.
Yeah,
So like, do you think we might be getting like an animated thing?
probably not.
Hmm.
Not more than
It's
we've.
pretty up. But I don't think we go that far. I mean, it is going into 2026, so maybe we're getting two miniseries out of
We
this.
got a Batman and Turtles video. I don't think we're gonna get that for Sonic.
Well, I like I wouldn't I was not I figured that would be like a best case scenario, like the dream, but I don't know what else they're gonna do with something like this over the course of 2 years if they're not gonna like take it to that kind of level. But I don't know. Like at the very least, I can see us getting a second miniseries out of it, like
I
Shig said.
I think you are. I feel like you're probably spot on in saying, "Hey, all the mobile games that we have that we periodically introduce costumes for because it's way easier than making a whole new character and way cheaper.
Yeah.
What if we just add more costumes for these existing characters?"
I was actually expecting that to be the extra costume in Sonic Shadow Generations.
I don't think we'll be getting that. I think they're going to have their hands full with the movie stuff for that.
Yeah.
If it's extending
Although, like,
even
they could
further, like
always, we don't know how long they're going to keep up support for that game. They could do it next year.
maybe, but you know what? I bet they will have some other form of Sonic game next year that will
Oh,
also
definitely.
have some form of DLC attached to it.
Ooh. Maybe it'll be a DCX Sonic video game.
I
Yeah.
probably
Nah.
will not be that. That sounds awful. What video game is going to have DC characters and Sonic characters?
I don't know, like
We're bringing
Shadow
back DC
Arkham Knights.
Universe Online.
I think it's still around, actually.
Oh,
It
it
is.
is.
It's one of those ones that are like still slowly managed by a third party company that just keeps it alive for the whales.
So,
Yeah.
moving on. to something that I know I am more excited for than anything than anyone else. So we got two trailers, uh, basically back to back for Sonic Shadow Generations, um, from Sonic Central. And the first one was a story trailer. It clearly it clearly indicates that we're going to be seeing more about Shadow's origins and stuff. Like we get a little scene of him in his capsule on the Ark and bit of Maria and Gerald. And we also got confirmation that Nephilis will be returning to the mainline Sonic games in this.
Is this important? Like there were
You sound very excited about this.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited to have a Nephilis boss fight.
You're very excited to remember a bad game that's bad and always was bad, and anyone who seems to think that it was good is deluding themselves.
Like, look,
Happy for back of the dryer Shadow action figure guy.
I'm always happy to have something.
Everyone remembers and loves Bomberman Act Zero. This is something that we all culturally agree on. It was a high point for game development. Everybody loved the Bionic Commando reboot. Like, this is something that we all loved from the mid-2000s and agree on.
Like, I'm just happy to have this obscure one-time character appearing again in a much better game.
Is this obscure one-time character worth remembering?
In a game about Shadow's legacy, yes.
Why?
It is.
But what if that legacy is bad? Like, because
well,
it is.
Then, like that's just an intrinsic issue with the game at that point. But
yes,
it's about Shadow's
this is
past
an extrinsic
Shadow's
issue
games,
with Sonic X Shadow Generations.
And so, like, we needed Nephilis in it. I'm happy that he's there.
No, we didn't need Nephilis in it. What the hell are you talking about? We did not need him.
Yes, we do. God damn it, we do.
Why?
Because he's a big part of Shadow's character.
No, he's not.
Yes,
Shadow had no meaningful character development in Sonic 06.
He was like Shadow's primary villain in the last big game he had a major appearance
and Shadow had so much character development because of it. Yeah, that's what I got from Sonic 06 is Shadow's character development. What the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about the character's past, not character development.
Nephilis has nothing to do with Shadow's past.
I mean,
he wasn't on the freaking arc.
Actual sense, GX. Whereas he was a major villain in a major game, that Shadow was a major part, and it's what I am getting at here. And this is a game about Shadow's past, not just like the past of the character, but the past of the video game character.
I just like good games, and I want to remember good games. Unfortunately, Shadow was never in any good games except for Sonic Adventure 2.
And Sonic Heroes.
I will go to bat for Sonic Forces, but nobody else will be behind me with that.
Sonic Forces is a perfectly mediocre game.
You know, that's fair. It's a better game than most of the other games that Shadow was in.
Oh, it's at least better than Sonic.
Better than Heroes.
But like, I'm just happy that they're going to these places with this game, and given that Metal Overlord had a lot of had like a lot of lines in his boss battle, I'm looking forward to what we're gonna get here for that as well.
I will agree. Metal Overlord sure had a lot of speaking lines for Metal Sonic.
So, like, so long as the game itself is as good as it looks, and it's as good as the game that it's attached to, then I'm very happy to have Nephilis here. And Shigs, it sounds like you also disagreed with that.
A little bit. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Nephilis at all, even though I have an action.
He looks stupid.
Of him.
He looks like Shadow has floating point errors.
The collection.
I've always
like
liked
Shadow melted.
Scaly Shadow.
Is that lore that we can develop that Shadow is actually a scaly? That would be I would believe that. You know,
Mephiles is a scaly because he's covered in scales.
no, Shadow is a scaly, and you see that's why that's why BioLizard was there, because he could not sort of contextualize that Shadow was meant to be the lizard. And so he yearns for the skin of the lizard that he was always meant to be. That's where we're going
Anyway,
with this.
this is the one time I will invoke Sonic Twitter and note that they are behind me. Correctly, for once.
Is that who you want to be associated? Congratulations.
Just this
You get to
one
be
time.
you get to be in
Just this
alignment with
once.
Sonic Twitter, just as you've always wanted.
Just this one time, I am in total agreement with them. They're wrong about Black Knight and anything else from the
do you feel good
2000s, but
about
they're
that?
right about that.
Do you feel good about that? I think that says a lot more about where you stand in the
I feel good about it. I feel good that they're right about something, damn it.
Are they? Or are you finally wrong about something and you just align with how wrong they are?
But anyway, so, like, I'm also really happy to see...
Infinite over Mephiles, and I hate Infinite.
I also hate Infinite, but I would also take Infinite over Mephiles.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, we're definitely getting Infinite too. Like, if we got Mephiles, we're getting Infinite.
I don't know if we're getting Infinite. Like, if they're running out of, like, they can only have so many bosses in this game, given how many levels
they have
shown.
introduced a boss for every single game they've represented so far.
Like, what are we going to say now? Infinite is somehow in the Sonic 3 movie, and he's going to be associated with the DLC?
Well, no, we have Sunset Heights.
Okay, I'm just gonna put this out here. If we find out that Infinite is in the Sonic 3 movie, I will go watch that movie. I will make this pledge.
Okay, I will tell you that he's in the Sonic 3 movie.
No, it has to be from a reliable source.
Like, Shigs will tell you that it's in the Sonic 3 movie.
I don't know if Shigs is inclined to lie to me directly.
Anyway, but in addition to that, from a genuine actual character perspective, I'm also really happy that Maria and Professor Gerald appear to be appearing in White Space.
It's going to have more story than Sonic Generations actually does. Sonic Generations
way more.
did not really seem to have any meaningful story whatsoever, and I personally think it was better for it, but I understand people will disagree.
I think that Sonic Generations did not need it.
Sonic doesn't get any extra DLC levels in this, pretty much at all. I mean, Ben Schwartz wouldn't cost too much to voice if they did a movie Sonic level in this.
Probably be cheaper than the alternative.
Yeah, I know, really.
But but yeah, so we may get more of Shadow with Professor Gerald and Maria. I'm really looking forward I'm really hoping that they make the most of that.
I stand by my statement. If they decide that they can make Shadow an actual character that's believable and not just this ball of misdirected angst that seems to have seemed to be what this character represents, then I will be on board with it. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of faith in them making a real, meaningful, understandable character. Like
ultimately, that's not going to be not going to be make or break for me, because
let me be real here.
It's not a good game.
Like my issue continues to be that it's not merely that it's just, hey, here's Shadow stuff. It's here's Shadow stuff in Sonic Generations. Shadow is not congruent with where the Sonic series went. Like, even compared to Sonic Frontiers, which is, I don't know, I think Kishimoto has depression during the pandemic level game, but like he doesn't fit with what Sonic has become. And they kind of had to, play that up in Sonic Prime. It's like, okay, can they deliver on this again, or are they just going to lean into, yeah, we're angst now? Because that's not going to feel like Sonic.
Shigs, thoughts?
Shigs, are you full of angst?
No.
Okay.
I don't really have an opinion on this one.
All right. Well, regardless, like, ultimately, if this is a good game, I'm gonna be happy. Like I put up with bad stories in Sonic games
I doubt it's
before.
gonna
I'm
be
not
a bad
expecting
one.
this one to be, but like I just want the game to be fun and it looks fun.
I'm sure that
So
we're trying to wrap this up so that you can eat.
yeah,
Right.
all right. So
And I'm totally not
finally,
being distracted by playing Sonic's Dream Team while listening to the podcast.
Fair enough.
You're playing Dream Team
You know,
right now.
no,
God
no,
darn it.
he's allowed. You know what? He has earned that. We're at 3 hours.
All right. Well, so like that was the main trailer. We also got a PlayStation trailer that went into some like PlayStation features, which, like, I don't know. I'm always happy to get more DualSense functionality in a game.
Yeah, like they've tied this to PlayStation in a surprising way, especially in a way where it always occurs during a work function that I have, and this was no
I'd
different.
like to think
And
that
none of us were expecting a
No,
movie level DLC where
no,
you
yeah,
they had
in
a
the middle of
presentation
state of
earlier in
play.
the
We
day.
weren't.
Dang it!
like I was
Yeah,
not
it's the
going
middle
to
of the day.
watch.
Come on.
I was not going to watch the PlayStation the PlayStation presentation because they have just had nothing this year for me.
Well, I think what the rumors were like a Days Gone remake was the big rumor. It's like,
Yeah.
who gives a crap? Who wants Days Gone?
And but then like someone comes in chat, but then like Dreg says, I want someone on staff watching that stream. I'm like, I guess I can make some time for it. Then someone else posts in here, oh no, actually it's been leaked that Sonic is gonna be in the presentation. I'm like, God damn it. And
You're
boom.
expecting a trailer. You're not expecting this major news.
Yeah, the Sonic 3 movie pack with a Sonic Movie 3 shadow skin, a Sonic Movie 3 level taking place in Tokyo, complete with like all these little Tokyo Easter eggs and like as
So I cannot confirm this. Take it with a grain of salt. But
yeah.
in the Discord, there was conversation that some people might have recognized that it might be some reused assets from the Like a Dragon series to
Oh my
build that
God.
Tokyo, which makes sense. Yeah, do that. It's fine.
Yeah, that's funny.
Do that. That's
And
acceptable.
like finally, Keanu Reeves is doing the voice lines.
I would, yeah. Shadow like jumps into the other dimension. It's like, well, now he looks like movie Shadow, and he's kind of freaked out that he looks like movie Shadow, but then also he has the Keanu Reeves voice. It's like, you know what? In this particular instance, I might be back in because that's like I said. They need Shadow is incongruent with the rest of the Sonic franchise, and one of the big reasons for that is they need to learn to have fun with Shadow, and this is fun with Shadow. Have fun with Shadow. Shadow can be a fun character.
Yeah.
He just needs to be fun in a different way than they're approaching him.
Yeah.
Lego understands how. Lego's done a great job. They get what makes Shadow fun.
But like so I don't know, like this is the first time that they've really tied the movies into a mainline game in a major way. Like Sonic Colors Ultimate, it did have the like
It had
movie
like
aura.
very slight cosmetics.
But I wouldn't really count that, especially
Yeah, I
compared to this, where
would
like
barely count it either. But
it is just an outright crossover with that stuff, and that is just wild. And like so, like I was reading the PlayStation blog interview with Shun Nakamura, and according to him, there is so much secrecy around the movie that he didn't even know whose voice lines he was getting.
perfect, great. I love it.
I'm curious if that particular Shadow skin will be unlockable for the rest of the game.
Tell you,
I wouldn't see why not. Like they're pushing skins for this game, and those skins have always been playable throughout an entire game. Like this isn't even the only Shadow skin. You know, we're getting Terios.
Well, this will be the only level where you're Keanu Reeves is voicing him.
Well, yeah, true, but like at the very least, I'm sure that the skin itself is playable throughout the game. I would be shocked if it was exclusive to that.
If you would want it, if it was going to be that way, and you imagine like, hey, if it's not by chance, then PC players will figure out how to do it.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
Although
that's
that
why
said,
we always get a PC version.
we have a PC mod to remove Pixel Sonic from Sonic Superstars, but we don't have a mod to force him into Pixel Sonic mode for the whole of the game, which, I don't know. Some people hate fun more than others. I like fun.
So,
I like Pixel Sonic. Give me Pixel
so,
Sonic.
Shigs, any final thoughts on any of this?
It's like I said, I hope it's playable through the rest of the game. And God, I would love it if this included a Sonic level as a movie level, but
Yeah,
I seriously doubt that.
I don't.
Sonic needs a little more in this in this package. Give him an extra level or two, you know?
Yeah,
I
I
it's
agree.
personally, I'm okay with them putting all the focus on Shadow. Like, putting all the focus on what is effectively like the new side game.
Sure, but
Um,
you could still like have this new level in the same way that they're building Shadow in the newer engine.
yeah,
That you could just have like you're primed to have additional Sonic content in that
I
newer
guess
engine, just as like a level,
I
just as a
guess what
treat.
I would like to see is Lost World represented, because one cool thing about the current package is that they just went ahead and added levels from like all of the more recent Sonic games, but it looks like they are for Shadow
Generations,
they're
yeah.
skipping Lost World
Well,
because he wasn't in that.
that would be good about a Lost World for that.
What?
Maybe a boss fight. Maybe a boss fight against
Uh,
the best villain in the series.
Ooh,
My purple
Wiseman?
boy riding the moon.
Wiseman?
Sure. No,
Snaz.
keep going, keep singing it. I demand it.
No.
No, keep going. We're not ending this podcast. You get through the whole song. Nah, it's
I
fine.
don't think that's gonna be possible.
I don't know.
So yeah,
I look. I'm gonna be in favor of more Sonic content anyway. I get what you're saying. It's just that you know how I feel about this whole Shadow exercise polluting
yeah,
my
I
beautiful
know.
Sonic generations, my beautiful lighthearted Sonic generations.
You know what? Now you're gonna like get these two games juxtaposing and crossing over with one another. So that could be funny.
Yeah.
So like one final thing, so like the Japanese Sonic X Shadow Generations website, that character slot next to Shadow is still blank.
Yeah.
So I kind of wonder what's going on with that.
I
All
don't
right,
like
so
Black Doom's this gonna be like I kind of pointed this out during the presentation, but it's like the direction they're going with Black Doom is he looks like you know the meme that was going around of what a biblically accurate
biblically
angel looks
accurate
like.
Black Doom,
Yeah,
right?
we're getting biblically accurate Black Doom for this. Perfect.
So I
Uh,
expect that we probably got at least one more level for them to reveal, because
you know,
they still haven't don't have anything from Shadow the Hedgehog yet. Um, but we're definitely nearing the end of all this. So I'm hoping we'll do another show before the game. We'll see. Um,
you know how I
I
know that
yeah,
AI.
but who knows?
You know that how I know that generative AI will never be a successful tool?
how?
Because at one point I fed the Microsoft the image generator the prompt of Sonic the Hedgehog biblically accurate Chow, and it just gave me Sonic looking like a stereotypical angel instead of anything worthwhile. It's a complete dead end technology. If it can't
Oh
give me what
yeah.
I want for that, like what are we dumping this millions of dollars in resources into if you can't even give me a biblically accurate Chow?
Like something I realized like last year was that, oh yeah, the AI industry is probably gonna like die in a few years at the rate things are
Oh,
going.
at level 5 for sure hopes not. Like I love their freaking dumb looking, no, this is not Yokai Watch, but it's also really Yokai Watch, and everyone picking it apart is like, yeah, they were generating a lot of assets for that thing.
Hmm.
Please
Well,
let
anyway,
Professor Layton be good.
um, ideally, we'll be back in 2 weeks, but we will see. Uh, and Sonic Hacking Contest is starting in a couple of days.
Yeah,
I
next week.
think I will be in a better position for that to at least do more than I did for Sage.
We got
I have a
Sure to
streams.
build
stream.
up your phlegm.
We got streams planned. I believe you have a Tuesday stream and I have a Saturday stream.
Yeah.
And it's up on shc.zone, if I remember the URL correctly. And you can check it out and watch us or watch many, many other wonderful streamers as they stream great hacks. And you, Knuckles, need to get on their press Discord because they have a lot of important information there, including some help for very specific, very challenging mods this year.
Yeah, I have been paying attention to that. I know
Cool.
that a couple of mods are getting released prepackaged, which is going to be nice.
Some of them, yeah.
So okay, so until next time, that's it for us.
Hey, peace all.
Later.